Day one was a bit of a feeling out day for all the teams that were involved, getting their first couple of games out of the way. That culminated in a thrilling boys AA matchup last night between Hamilton Boys and Rosmini College. There's been some big additions that came off the plane this morning with all of the boys from the New Zealand Under-16 team that came second at the Asia Cup, as the teams look to reacclimate with them in their sides. But first up, we're going to get involved with some girls AA action. It's New Plymouth girls taking on Manurewa High. Let's get into it. No mai, haere mai, and welcome back to Fly Palmy Arena in Palmerston North for day two. This is game one on the live stream on the show court. And we've got AA girls action for you. New Plymouth Girls High taking on Manurewa High School. I'm going to get into our team list shortly. Firstly, for Manurewa High School, number 3, Zendi Lee. Number 4, Princess Alim. Number 5, Alyssa Ulahea. Number 7, Shirley Tuilemu. Number 8, Waimehi Hitaraka Brown. Number 9, Emily Tanera. Number 10, Beautiful Campbell. Number 11, Bella Manumore. Number 12, Taisha Tanera. And 13, Astrid Henricks. Head coach Joseph Kumar, assistant coach Michael Telford, and the manager Janine Fakohasan. On the other side for New Plymouth Girls High, number 4, Cassia Bailey Noel. Number 5, Sophia Louis. Number 6, Lauren Abrams. Number 7, Macy Death. Number 8, Ruby Helms. Number 10, Georgia Aldershaw. 11, Leah Dellinger. 12, Charlotte Butler. 13, Leilani Rover. 15, Libby Tito. 14, Geordie Sands. And number 20, Sophie Wilkinson. Head coach Aaron Bailey Noel. Assistant coach Raquel Sampson. And the manager Sonia Rover. As we have a look at the referees, Austin Smart and Katie Godber. Results thus far for both teams. For New Plymouth Girls, 2 losses currently. First one to Mount Maunganui College, and the second one, not a bad loss at all, to St Andrews College, who are one of the favourites in this tournament. And then for Manurewa High School, they beat Kaiapoi, and then they also lost to Mount Maunganui College. Not to forget, of course, for New Plymouth Girls High School as well, they were 2014 national champions. I believe Kayla Manu Irarangi was the MVP of that tournament. And we're just about ready to get underway with New Plymouth on the court. Manurewa in the yellow about to join them. And it's a good time to thank all of our broadcasting partners, of course. First of all, Whakata Māori, Basketball Manawatu, who have provided all the volunteers, and Moulton Bailey's, New Zealand Carbon Farming, Caltex Apollo Projects, New Zealand Community Trust, and our additional partners, Glory League and Pure Athletics. So, New Plymouth are going left to right. And off the tip, it is going to be a Manurewa ball. A little bit of an issue with the inbounds, tipped out again off a New Plymouth, and it's going to stay with Manurewa High School. Didn't qualify in 2022, but finished 3rd in the Zone 1 qualifiers. Out of the on-ball early, pull-up jump shot off the tapa, but the offensive tūrapa again goes off the tapa. Another offensive tūrapa could be put in by Bella Manumore. And away come Sacred Heart through Cassia Bailey Noel, and the foul is called. And 2 shots have been given for Cassia Bailey Noel. Father Aaron is such a stalwart for the Taranaki Mountaineers over the years. And that one's along off the tapa. As she takes the second Kuru Tautuku and converts that. So New Plymouth girls get us underway in the scoring here on the show court. Great pass underneath, and a foul is called a baseline. Although what Mai Mihi Hiraraka Brown did such a good job there of finding a teammate, even though she was fouled at the time. You may be able to pick out on the cameras as well, that's how loud his voice is. Aaron Bailey Noel for New Plymouth girls as they get the steal, and away they come. And a beautiful finish there off glass for Sophie Wilkinson. And just waiting for the graphics update, but it's currently 3-0 for New Plymouth girls. As another foul is called. So we're going to see our first aspect of Aaron Bailey-Noel, X's and O's, little cross screen there. Looking for the player underneath. Short there off the tupper, but the offensive tūrapa up and in. Sophie Wilkinson with the easy rua. And so let's see what Manurewa can come up with. Nice little on-ball screen there. Good pivot foot again. Pull up with the jumper in and out off the tūrapa. And a rebound to Geordie Sands, but stolen there from Manurewa. Wasn't deemed out. 3-on-1 opportunity. And the set shot from Sophia Louis is good. Not executing just yet, but I'd still like the offensive effort from Manurewa as they draw the hara. And to the line is going to go Shirley Tuilemu as we have another look at it here. Defense not quite stepping up to slow her down. And she is going to go shoot rua from the Kuru Tautukus. Long there on the first one off the tapa. And again, long there off the tapa. The tūrapa couldn't be corralled, and it's going to stay Manurewa ball. Little post entry, and travel is called. Great work there from the Kaipari, which in te reo is a defender. And away come Sacred Heart. Manurewa here sitting in a high 2-3 zone. And that's going to be off the hands of Sacred Heart. Sorry, New Plymouth girls, apologies. And Manurewa still looking for their first points. Full court pressure here from New Plymouth girls. But well dealt with here from Manurewa. Tanera bringing the ball over the halfway line. Lovely short roll there. They've done a fantastic job, Manurewa, even though they haven't put the ball on the hoop yet, of finding those cutters and those little dish-offs once the defenders step up after they've beaten their initial defender. But here come New Plymouth girls. Little handoff up the top into a DHO on the right-hand side. Again into an on-ball screen. Great X's and O's. And the offensive tūrapa draws the hara. And two Kuru Tautukus are going to be shot. And converts the first, Sophie Wilkinson. A reminder, no live stats is available at this stage of the tournament, so any stats that I throw out from this game are just completely off the whim. Away come Manurewa, 2-on-1, blocked there from Macy Death, and draws the foul as she came out off the block, and a timeout is going to be taken from Manurewa High School. Opportunity here just to have a conversation about things that they want to look to improve on moving forward. Don't forget, if you want more information on this tournament, head to nz.basketball on the line, and you will be able to check out everything you need. Photos, videos. It's all available on there, as well as draws and results, which are being kept up to date. I can see Geordie and Jay working furiously to make sure that those are loaded online. And they're doing a fantastic job thus far with this tournament. If only their draws for their commentators were as good as their draws for the teams. Meant to have the wonderful Miles Pearce with us. No doubt Miles has been stuck in a corridor with someone else, as that is long there on the Kuruwhiwhi Toru. Kasia in and out on the floater attempt. And a name I feel we're going to hear a lot today was Sophie Wilkinson. Wilkinson played both under-17 nationals for Taranaki as well as the D-League. Good mix of youth and experience within the side. Kasia Bailey-Noel only playing under-15s this year for Taranaki as he puts up the Kuruwhiwhi Toru. Short there off the Papa Muri. Offensive tūrapa is bouncing around the tapa, and a foul is called against New Plymouth girls. And so it's going to be a Manurewa High School ball. Manurewa already committing 4 fouls within this game. That is the 3rd on New Plymouth. And another steal there from Kasia Bailey-Noel. Puts it up and in. And it is my absolute pleasure to be joined in the commentary booth by New Zealand CEO, Dylan Boucher. Bouch, how you going?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad, thank you. And obviously great to be here at Secondary School Nats, and great to be sitting alongside you in the commentary booth.
Absolutely, I mean, it's always great anytime you can get the big man here for the full week. What has anything stood out to you over day 1 and into day 2?
Yeah, I've just been talking about the talent levels and the size of kids. Far out, it's things have certainly changed a lot over the years, but the talent is obviously, far superior to back in my day as far as individual skills goes. But you're just seeing just big athletes that are able to do some special things on the court, which is so promising to see for the future of basketball in this country.
When we talk about the style of play in New Zealand and how you kind of want a more immersive style that teams around the country can emulate, I think that's starting to shine through as well. The spacing's improved year after year, the shooting's improved. It's wonderful to see. Yeah,
you're just seeing, as I mentioned, you're seeing right there, see a big, strong athlete able to knock down shots, and back in the past, it's always been the strictly inside game for the bigs or for the forwards. But we're seeing talented bigs that are able to step out, knock down shots, bring the ball up the court. It's like I say, it's encouraging because the international game is certainly predicated a lot on size and skill. And one of the things that we're lacking in this country is the ability for our bigs to be able to knock down the outside shots, and that's what's at the moment probably holding us back in some of our games internationally.
It must have been pleasing for you to see, though, the under-16 boys that are just returning their result against Australia over the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, that was awesome to see. I mean, that's a special group with some special talent on that group, and we've got to really work now to be able to make sure that that's not a one-off result, that they're going to go to the World Cup next year and really make some noise and surprise quite a few teams. And I'm sure the result probably wasn't surprising for Coach Leighton and the coaching staff. And I'm sure even for Australia, they knew that's a talented group. So I saw, at the end of the game how, I guess, relieved Australia were to see that they'd won that game, because you never want to lose to the neighbour. But they know this group is talented, so I'm sure they, put a lot of respect on that game. And, I think that's a big future for a lot of those players.
As away come New Plymouth girls, lovely 2-on-1, but big block there from Emily Tanera, and kick ahead pass, Kuruwhiwhi, and the block, but is called a foul from Sophie Wilkinson. I think a great thing as well, Dylan, I was going through the team sheets and seeing players in this tournament that have been involved both through representative age group as well as playing D-League or involved in Tauihi League teams. Yeah,
it's certainly great to see. I mean, I was watching, games yesterday, and like you say, those that are on those rosters are really showing that, you know, a year of development in those Tauihi, you know, development spots or on the team, to be able to play with, you know, full-time professionals and be in that environment for a period of time certainly helps their game. And then obviously, you know, there's NBL coaches and Tauihi coaches here looking at the next level of talent as well. So again, opportunities for people to put their best foot forward and you know, secure those spots for 2024.
It's a great thing to see. I remember when I was first here in 2019, the big talk was, oh, there's college coaches around, whereas now it's, hey, there's NBL coaches around, there's Tauihi League coaches around. So it's cool to see that there's becoming that bridge between the professional pathway and then what's happening, unfolding in the high school level.
Yeah, what's really clear in New Zealand is there's not one set pathway that's suited for every athlete. You know, we've seen multiple different pathways now. We're seeing obviously the college pathway, which is well documented, and mixed results on, you know, we see some great success stories, but also some stories of people that go over there and just don't enjoy it, the different environment. And then we're seeing the professional pathways. We're seeing in the Australian NBL, the Next Stars program, your Dante Russo-Nances of the world, you know, choosing that pathway. And certainly with the NBL and Tauihi local leagues to be able to, you know, get those development player spots and roster spots. You look at a Pelas Hokianga that was able to play, you know, significant minutes for the Phi and do well out there. So again, there's plenty of different avenues to go down.
As just leaves the Kuru Tautuku short there, and that is going to be a new Plymouth girls basketball. Now, Dylan, I'm not going to leave you exempt to this question. I've asked all other commentators this one. If you were the CEO of FIBA, what is one rule that you would change in basketball?
It's a great question. Let me ponder on that for a little bit, and then I'll come back and maybe a couple of plays down the court on that one, because there's plenty of things that I could probably say, but coming up with probably the best one is going to be the challenge. Big
tūrapa there for Wilkinson, but gets caught under pressure, and it's going to be a Manurewa ball.
How awesome to see Manurewa High School represented at this Nationals, and both their men's and women's programs have been fantastic. And yeah, certainly not a team that we've seen, you know, on a regular basis at Nationals. So seeing them perform, showing the work that they're putting in.
I think there was a lot of shocked eyes when they saw the Zone 1 results that were unfolding. But it's great. I mean, it just shows you don't have to go to a big school. You don't have to play Premier Basketball for your team to end up at secondary school nationals.
That's, I mean, for me, that's what's so great about it is, you know, lovely three from the corner there. Is, you know, like you say, we want these schools that aren't traditional schools to be able to build their own program and show that it's all possible. You know, they're obviously coming up against a really well-drilled New Plymouth Girls High team, coached by Aaron Bailey-Noel, and you know, they've obviously got a very talented roster. But again, Manurewa coming out with a lot of energy and proving that they deserve to be at this Nationals.
And on the boys' side, it must be pleasing for you, because I believe Pukekohe High is your alma mater, their first time at Nationals?
No, I'm Papatoetoe High School.
My apologies, but that's a big rivalry.
Yeah, that's why it was awesome for me to see Manurewa, next door neighbours, represented here. When I certainly played, I was saying to the Basketball New Zealand team earlier, I didn't even know that Nationals was a thing when I played in high school, because my team certainly was not even close to making it here. So it shows that it doesn't matter what size of your school, you can still have a basketball career at the end of it. So that's why it's so encouraging to see both the A and the AA schools here with different things like Pukekohe High School and Mount Ross School and, you know, Dilworth and the boys' side. You know, it's awesome to see these schools that haven't represented here either before or for a long time.
Yeah, Dilworth's a big one. We're a big powerhouse when I was at school, and now to see them under Josiah Mahama come back, it's awesome.
It is. It just shows you, right? You put a good coach in charge of a program that you can get a team really functioning well. And he's got them playing a high level of basketball, and you know, they're showing they've got some good athletes at the school.
As the hara is drawn there, and New Plymouth girls are going to go to the line as we have a look here on the action replay. And of course, we've got a bunch of fantastic sponsors on board for this tournament, but the action replay still looking for one. Feel free to reach out to the Basketball New Zealand team if your company would like to get involved.
Yeah, this national tournament is obviously a great ambassadorship for the level of basketball we've got in this country. seeing a lot of new faces here, and seeing a lot of really talented, athletes both on the men's and women's side, and it's encouraging to see the next level of talent coming through.
I can't believe how competitive all the games were on day one. I mean, you usually talk about it on a 6-day tournament. Those first couple of days are kind of when the big teams flex their muscles, but everyone got pushed. Everyone had to go deep into their benches to get results, and the standard across the board is just getting higher and higher.
It really is, and I think it's a testament to the work that our coaches are doing out there in the basketball community, are really taking this game seriously and spending time and working with these athletes, and having them performing and learning the individual skills. As Bailey Noel goes to the free throw line.
Short there off the tapa with the first kuru tautuku. Only under 15 as well, and she's already been a standout in this game.
Yeah, she's certainly got a great pedigree, and I know every individual athlete that comes from a line of athletes, and in her case, Aaron Bailey Noel, well documented as a tough, uncompromising NBL player. However, these athletes pave their own journey, and they need the work rate to be able to become great athletes, and she's a good example of it.
I wouldn't mind, Producer Rich, if we can at some point, getting another look at Aaron Bailey Noel before they're on the fast break, giving it the big wind-up, trying to encourage his players to get out on the break. It's great to see, isn't it, the energy that these former players are giving back with their coaching.
Well, they take this thing very seriously. They've been committed to the game as a player, and now they're paving their coaching ranks, and certainly want to put as 100% effort into that also. As we see, Sophie Wilkinson will go and earn herself 2 shots at the free throw line. New Plymouth girls right now are, down on the defensive end. Their zone is causing Manurewa all kinds of trouble, and their strong presence of Sophie Wilkinson on the inside there, showing her physicality, staying vertical, being able to block shots without drawing a foul, and then at the other end, obviously attacking the hoop at the other end.
I was talking to Mel Bennett yesterday, and she was stressing the importance of kids, if they can learn how to use verticality young. It's such a useful tool for coaches as they get older, that they're not having to teach it to them. It's just the reinforcement of it. Yeah,
absolutely, and certainly I've seen in this game, there's both sides. Girls have showed good verticality, and being able to really cause problems for the offense. Certainly in my day, I was a coach's nightmare. I never stayed vertical and had my hands everywhere and played a high brand of basketball, and everything I did is essentially what they're teaching kids not to do these days, but it's a lot safer. As you see, a good example there, just nice straight up verticality. A little bit too much physicality on the hands though, and they've called a double foul, I think, on this one.
As we have another look here on the action replay, the block, and it was almost a tie-up, and then just a bit of an extension on the physicality. But yeah, Dylan, for us that remember you 2002 and post in your career, tenacious defender at the NBL level, a triple-double machine. It's interesting to hear that you were a coach's nightmare growing up.
Yeah, I was often told by, and particularly Tab Baldwin would often tell me to, slide my feet on defence, which I would do, but I just couldn't keep my hand out of the cookie jar a lot of the time, and oftentimes find myself in foul trouble. And I call it high risk, high reward defence, and a lot of times when it paid off, I looked really good, but there were times in big moments in games where I would get my hand caught in the cookie jar and end up sitting on the bench and having to think about it for a long time.
Teaching moment then for young kids that they get told that from their coaches as well. What was one thing that you kind of got into your head that kind of helped change your mentality on trying to reach all the time?
Yeah, I mean, for me, the one thing I got taught is, defense is what wins games. Offense looks great, and, especially in today's day and age with social media, like you can be a human highlight machine on offense, but it generally comes down to finals and big games are won with defense. And so for me personally, it was, how do I stay out there on the court for a long period of time? And I found that it was always defense that kept you on the court. You could miss 5 shots in a row, but if you were stopping your opponent 5 times in a row, it made it a lot easier to be able to be kept out there on the court.
Manurewa there converts both of her kuru tautukus. 17-8 New Plymouth over Manurewa High School. Day 2, game number 1 on the live stream. Still 3 more games to go after this. It's wonderful, Dylan, that we've added a second court as well this year. I mean, we always talk, this court doesn't really show what Nationals is about, but now we've got court 5 as well. It really adds to the atmosphere.
Oh, it really does, and you know, being able to showcase, you know, 2 games of basketball at the same time, and you know, had a parent walk in yesterday, and they walked in, they thought this was the only court, and they said, I'd heard all this stuff about Nationals, but there wasn't a lot of atmosphere. And then they said, I saw everyone walking behind the grandstands, as we see a great defensive possession there by Manurewa. And then they said, so I followed the people out the back, and then all the courts out the back was where the atmosphere was at. So there is a vibe out the back because there's so many courts going on, and awesome to have another one of those courts live streamed to showcase the talent that's on display.
And we're starting to get to that point of the tournament as well, where the pools are starting to take shape, and we're figuring out who's going to finish where. And you start to see just herds of people migrate to courts where they hear rumours of this game's getting close or this big team might go down. It's a bit of a spectacle. It's
funny how things happen, right? And you know, you are walking past the court and you look at the scoreboard and it's close, and there's only a few minutes left as we see a beautiful free throw there. So by Emily Tanita. So it's, you know, you're right, you walk past the court and you get some interest when there's a bit of vibe around it, and all of a sudden you got 200 people watching the game surrounded around the court.
2 minutes and a change to play here in quarter number 1. No handoff opportunity there for Lauren Abrams, and off the foot of Bella Manurewa.
Manurewa have turned up the defence and, you know, using their pressure now to cause a few problems out there for the Plymouth girls, and certainly being rewarded for it. Now there's just 11 seconds left on the shot clock. Let's see what they can muster up.
Yeah, they started off in a 2-3 zone. Now they're in wahine to wahine defence, and it's causing problems, but they're getting caught with the hand in the cookie jar, and that's going to be the potential for some free points.
There's a classic example, doing a great job with her sliding her feet, and the help side stepped in and reached in and gave the referee an opportunity, whether it was clean or not, gave the referee an opportunity to blow the whistle, and, you know, in this case, sending the player to the free throw line because they're in the bonus.
Smart coaching there as well from Aaron Bailey-Noel.
Georgia Aldershaw, nothing but net on that free throw.
It's not great to see as well, kids that can shoot free throws.
Oh, I'll tell you what, it's as a coach, there's nothing worse when you're putting in the work, another one splashes another one, putting in the work to put your team in a position, and, you know, you get into the bonus nice and early, and the player doesn't knock down free throws at the end of it.
That extended pressure working for New Plymouth girls, come away with the steal, and it's going to go back the other way. Kick ahead pass for the one-on-one spin, and off the bottom of the tapa, and the tūrapa ends up in the hands of Georgia Aldershaw. What a skip pass there. It's always interesting, isn't it? Until when you're in the commentary booth, you can see the angles that the players can't always see sometimes.
Yeah, often up from this angle, you're thinking, what were they thinking? And they see the open player, but they don't see the defense rotating. And like you say, you add pressure to it, as we see another turnover with good defensive pressure.
Great kick ahead pass as well, leading her player in with the left hand. Easy as you like there for
Emily Taneda, beautiful reverse layup there. She's showed the quarterback skills before with the full court one-handed pass, and that time showing her finesse, laying it up. As we see Manurewa dropping back into a zone defense again. Great verticality again, straight up and down. Deep three.
Kurufifi Toru off the left rim. And it's always interesting, Dylan, people talk sometimes a zone can be a lazy defense, but if you use it correctly and you pressure at the right points, it can actually be such an exciting way to create some turnovers.
You're right, a lot of times it is seen as a lazy defense, but as you've seen in Manurewa High, you know, the change-up has caused the Plymouth girls a bit of disruption, and, you know, changing from man-to-man defense to a zone defense has been a bit disruptive, and I feel like Manurewa in the last couple of minutes have got the upper hand. And caused a bit of disruption, whereas I felt like your Plymouth girls were looking very comfortable before that.
Great on-ball screen there, and wonderful pivot, just a bit long there on the jump shot attempt. Rebound Aldershaw. And are they going to try and get a 2-for-1 opportunity? They're just going to run out of time on this possession to do so.
Hustle.
And foul is called. Bit of a coach killer there on beautiful Campbell.
Yeah, I mean, fantastic commitment to diving on the floor. Unfortunately, caught a bit of the leg as she dived and brought the player down with her. But you can never fault that commitment as a coach. You know, as frustrating as it is, you're never going to yell at someone for diving on a loose ball, I'll tell you that much.
What I like to see there as well, after the play, referee Katie Godber willing to explain it to the players about why she made the call. I was speaking to Ken Coulson this morning, and we're saying we've noticed a lot more in this tournament, the referees doing a wonderful job with their game management in terms of just being able to talk through situations that helps to calm everyone involved down.
Yeah, I mean, it's people management a lot of the time when you're in that officiating space, and you know the best officials are the ones who build that rapport with the coaches and the players, and have the ability to be able to, you know, tell them the things that they've done wrong and be able to explain it to the player. A lot of times that's the easiest way. It's a beautiful front cut there, not able to finish. Caught just going over the back. Oh no, the quarter jump ball, fantastic, good hustle, good hustle.
Great work there. One of my favourite 3x3 rules, actually. Any jump ball or tie ball, as Miles like to call it, defence gets it as the hara is drawn. And Manurewa a chance to cut it here to a 2-possession game in the dying embers of the first quarter.
Once again, just putting the hands in there, giving the referee the opportunity to call the foul, and a great cut.
Short there on the first Kuru Tautuku. New Plymouth girls, 6.4 seconds on the shot clock. Should they get the ball back after this? Still plenty of time to create a good opportunity.
It's one thing, beautiful shot there. 6 seconds is plenty of time in basketball. She'll be able to get right down the court on this one. Makes the kick ahead.
Gets all the way into Bloody Nose Lane with the left hand. And off the Papamuri, no good. So quarter number 1 here in the books. New Plymouth Girls High 20, Manurewa High School 13. Dylan Boucher, what stood out to you in that first quarter?
Yeah, as I picked up the mic, you know, obviously New Plymouth Girls were looking comfortable out there and certainly looked like they were going to run away with this game, but the changing defence from Manurewa caused them a few problems, and you know, I thought they got some good turnovers there. They scored at the other end, got to the free throw line, put a bit of pressure back on New Plymouth Girls, and you know, I think if both sides, if they can just take care of the ball and not turn it over so much in these next 3 quarters, it's anybody's ball game. And I think right now New Plymouth Girls have used their depth of their bench. Manurewa, looks like there's some lungs blowing out there, so this will be a welcome break at the quarter time. But it'll be how can they manage their players to make sure that, you know, they've still got their best players out there performing at the highest level.
Now, recently we had the FIBA World Championships for the men. I thought our style of play, again, is always excellent. It was in 2019, it was this year, obviously in 2002, we had probably the best style of play. I saw as well you actually uploaded all the videos from that so we could go back and watch Phil Jones drop over 30 on China. But what pleased you most about the way that the New Zealand team played in the last World Champs?
When you say uploading videos, it literally was videos I was uploading. That's why the quality is so bad. But yeah, no, what impressed me with our group was, again, we're always looking at reinventing ourselves when we go to these world tournaments. A lot of times we can't match the teams for personnel. So what we're always trying to do is kind of like what we talk with Manurewa High School is junking things up a little bit on both ends of the court and showing things that possibly teams aren't ready for, or certainly haven't scouted before, so it catches them off guard. And you know, I agree with you. I think our style of play was great, and we saw the likes of Shayeli and Ruben Tarangi and Finn Delaney, Isaiah Liafa, you know, just have their moments where they showed they are world-class players. And I don't think, you know, there was probably the respect on their name going into that tournament as much as there is now. I could easily see, you know, any of those 4 guys playing in the EuroLeague, you know, at a high level consistently, and I think they proved that in the tournament. And you know, I think we were number 1 at attacking the basket, for example. So, you know, having the likes of Shayeli and Ruben Tarangi very strong at putting the ball on the floor and attacking the hoop was encouraging, and being able to finish over the bigger, longer defenders.
We see Manurewa still sitting in that 2-3 zone with the full frontal as well. Out the post denial. Bailey Noel there caught with the ball. Doing a good job here, though. New Plymouth going side to side. 3 seconds on the shot clock. Well defended, Manurewa.
Shot clock violation. It's going to be a turnover. Great defense that's what you want to see in your first possession, is your team really locking in and committing to that defensive stop. And I think you'll see the ball here be Manurewa's ball with a shot clock violation.
Yeah, shot clock violation called. Is there, I mean, obviously you're very tied up with the CEO role at the moment, doing a wonderful job, but do you ever see getting back into coaching in your future at all? Now your kids are starting to get a little bit older.
Yeah, I still love the game, and I love the facets of coaching and the strategy side of the game. So 100%. Oh, beautiful and one there.
Macy Death taking it all the way to the hoop and drawing the contact.
Yeah, I call myself, a student of the game, and, I still love, and when I watch games, I can't just watch it for the enjoyment, I watch it for the strategy side of it and watch the coaching decisions and the playmaking that are derived by great coaching. As we see a jump ball there, unable to see who it went off, but ends up going to stay with New Plymouth girls. But yeah, I certainly love the coaching element. I never say no to coming back to it. So yeah, absolutely. Still want to keep my hand in the game, but at this stage, you're right. I'm very tied up in the CE role, and I don't have many spare hours to put into coaching at the moment. That's for sure.
Full court pressure here from New Plymouth girls. It's pleasing to see teams give that a go, especially as we get deeper into a six-day tournament. But got the steal.
That's exactly why you put pressure on. Just added pressure, trapping. You want to stay away from those corners when you cross the halfway line, and they baited it beautifully into that corner and got the turnover for it.
Another tip ball there for Manurewa.
It's interesting, you're watching, a coach's daughter with the ball, and unfortunately, as we see another turnover, great defense. Can she finish on the break?
Beautiful Campbell with the right hand, but an offensive two-upper gets the ball back. And 3 seconds is called.
The pressure on a coach's daughter is real. And I was speaking to Aaron Bailey-Noel about this yesterday, and the fine balance of your daughter knowing you're going to be harder on them than every other player on the court, and them understanding it and being able to be okay with it. And it's unfair, but the reality is we see a corner three off the back of the iron.
Is there a reason, Dylan, why they always end up becoming point guards? I mean, we were watching Bailey Flavel last night, and Judd was on the sideline, assistant coaching for Takapuna Grammar, and she's having a fantastic tournament at the moment, but they always seem to end up the point guard.
She's having a fantastic year. She's been phenomenal in every team she's been on this year, whether it be under 19s or D-League or Takapuna Grammar. But I think it's because they live around the game, and so organically throughout their career, throughout their life, they've been on a sideline of a basketball court, so they understand the game at a high level, which I think they make good decisions as point guards. I think that's why a lot of them end up as point guards.
I mean, you see, I even think back to the Harbour Wednesday night leagues, and Aaron Seawood, who's coming up for Northcote College, nearly got over the line for this tournament. They finished 8th, but was always around his dad's teams, and you could just see the knowledge that he picks up just from watching it organically just is transferring over.
It's incredible. I mean, I used to literally run around on the court next to him thinking, man, this little kid's got some game. And now you've seen him drop, 60-point games in high school. And, again, playing with men in social leagues is very, very good for your development and your decision-making, because you're getting beat up by the older, slower guys, because that's the only way they know how to play, because they don't have the athleticism anymore. But you're also playing with usually a higher level IQ players around you that can put you in good positions, and in his case, his father and his teammates, and he does a great job for their team on a Wednesday night.
Still in a 2-3 look here, Manurewa. Death trying to go into bloody nose lane and draws the foul. That's going to be the second one on Manurewa High School. As we have another look at their great rip and go.
Just that reach in, I think, was what they got called for again. Just got to keep those hands out. Manurewa does a good job walling up inside, which just let them run into the bigs and make them have to make a shot over them.
Here's Macy Deaf, little floater off the Papamuri, but the offensive board blocked was Geordie Sands. And here comes Taisha Tanera for Manurewa.
Manurewa doing a good job in that interior defense, using the physicality.
Well, they're keeping themselves in this game. Usually, if you've only got 15 points at this time, you could be behind by 20, but doing a fantastic job getting back in transition, walling up. As we see a 3-on-2 here for New Plymouth. And again, that defensive pressure. making it tough.
Great box out and rebound there. Getting called for an over the back. I think this will go on number 5, Sophia Lewis.
I remember reading some Zach Lowe, who is one of the senior writers for ESPN, and he always said he wants a box out cam to watch the best players in the NBA doing it, because as you said, it's such an underrated skill that if you can do it correctly, you stay on the court a very long time.
And you don't get a stat for it. That's the thing. And that's, you know, like there's often players will only do things that they're going to get a stat for, whether it be an assist or a shot or a steal or a rebound. But sometimes you can set a great screen or get a great box out and not be rewarded at all for it. But the good thing about the NBA is they're so analytically driven that there's a stat for everything in the NBA. And I can guarantee you Steven Adams would be probably at the top of that stat if you did a box out stat, and that's the reason he's such a good rebounder.
I think they are actually starting to track that, because I've seen, you see those Twitter pages that are dedicated to single players, and I think, yeah, Steve had the most offensive box outs per 48 minutes or something.
He's insane.
Crazy, I mean,
like
that.
Imagine trying to box that guy out in every possession. That would be a nightmare in itself.
You go back and you watch his age group finals when he was coming up through Wellington and guarding and being guarded by Isaac Fotu. Isaac did not have a very easy time of it growing up.
How ironic that those two have both, you know, made it to the highest level, and, you know, Isaac Fotu both through Europe and now in Japan, and then obviously Steven Adams in the NBA. But there's no substitute for that high-level competition on a regular basis. As we see a nice kick-ahead pass. Fortunately caught the side of the backboard there.
Turapa there from Death comes off her foot. Little battle for it. And Geordie Sands comes up with the ball. Ruby Helms, lovely kick pass. Kurufifi Toru is long, and the Turapa again ends up in the hands of Death.
Oh, wow. I tell you what, there's one thing you cannot fault with this Manurewa team, their commitment and hustle. They might be missing a few shots on the offensive end, but defensive on the side of things, they are committed to 100%. They've got their hands in there, they've got their bodies in there, they're diving on loose balls, making it very, very tough right now for New Plymouth girls.
Bringing it back to Isaac just quickly, the years that he played in Europe, I know we talk a lot about the college pathway and kids going that way, but I'll tell you what, those European summers don't look so bad, do they? Living in Venice, wouldn't mind that.
I'll tell you what, there's some beautiful places, and Kirk Penny used to always say to me that a lot of his contract decisions were made depending on where he was going, whether he could get a tan and whether it was going to be nice weather or whether he was going to go to like Lithuania and be in the snow. So yeah, there's some beautiful places in Europe that can, you know, this sport can take you all across the world, as we're seeing in Isaac Fotu's case, whether it was been Europe and now it's Japan. We're seeing Japan being one of the, you know, really well-paid leagues now in the world that, you know, the likes of Trent Adam has just gone up to join Paul Henade up there in the coaching ranks, and we're seeing Tim Dennis, Sean Dennis up there now in the coaching, who was with Hawke's Bay Hawks, and Kevin Braswell is up there, assistant coach for Tunamea, where Isaac Fotu is, and seeing the likes of Nick Kay, former, you know, Australian imports that have been in the New Zealand League, are now up there earning great money in Japan, and, you know, it's a very, very strong league.
I was going to say, if Tim Dennis was up there, then Crowd Goes Wild's doing pretty well.
He would love to be up there, I'm sure.
Here is Death to the hoop, little floater, goes around the tapa, and the Turapa ends up in the hands of Taisha Tenera. Still locked here at 24-15. Over half to play in quarter number 2 of girls AA action for 2023.
Deep three.
And just short there on the Kurufifi Toru, that'll be New Plymouth girls. And a timeout is going to be taken by Manurewa. Dylan, we're seeing that New Plymouth girls defense just stifle Manurewa a little bit. Is there any adjustment that you could see that they could quickly implement to help open some space up?
Yeah, I think the frustrating thing for them is every time they go inside, they're looking at, you know, 5 New Plymouth girls jerseys. They're really packing the paint and daring them to kick it out and shoot from the perimeter with the shot clock pressure. And you saw in that case, you know, being forced to shoot a deep three. In that case, it was Emily Taneda that was left with the ball in her hands with 3 seconds to go and having to shoot a deep three to not come across the shot clock pressure. And you'd rather a missed shot than a turnover at that stage of the shot clock. However, they've obviously called a timeout to talk about how they're going to beat this defence. But to answer your question, what they need to do is they need to get stops and they need to run and get some easy layups where the defence can't get set. So it's very hard to come back in games when you're constantly taking the ball out of the net. So it's about defence, getting stops, or even better if you can get a steal. but getting that rebound and being able to push the ball before the defence sets and attacking the hoop and try and get in the bonus. And we're already seeing both teams are close to being in the bonus with New Plymouth girls on three team fouls, and Manurewa already in the bonus with 4. So again, they've got to keep their hands out for this next 5 minutes to go in this quarter to be able to not put them at the free throw line.
Did wonder if we might see an adjustment as well defensively for Manurewa, given that there was an out of bounds full court, maybe apply some pressure. Not to be, but really trying to shade the ball to the middle, aren't they? Overplaying the wing as they finally get the ball into the corner through depth. Here's Bailey now. Puts the ball on the floor, great kick out. Kurufifi Toru attempt is short, and the two-upper goes up and in off the Papa Moody. Ruby Helms in the right place at the right time.
Just those can't give up offensive rebound. This is what I'm talking about. Pushing the ball, getting a layup. Oh, beautiful defense. Coming across there. Leilani Rover coming across with a beautiful swat.
And the floater on the other end is short, but a foul is called. And it's going to stay a New Plymouth girls basketball.
I think they've called 13 for an over the back. Yeah, Rover I think's been called for an over the back, or is it a Manurewa? No. Yep, it's been called for an over the back after the floater. She tried to get her own rebound and was called for the push in the back. Beautiful play on one end, unfortunately picks up the foul at the other.
Great heads-up play, though, from the referee to be able to spot that. Not always the easiest call to make.
No, it's not, and it's one of those ones where she probably should have made the floater, and you end up getting yourself in trouble with, trying to show the effort play, but then obviously coming away with a foul, unfortunately.
And we'll give them a minute to set up. But great to be joined as well in the commentary booth by the big fella, Miles Pearce.
Good afternoon. How are you guys?
Oh, great. Yourself?
Oh, living the dream. More basketball today. Some very good basketball too. Was out on one of the backcourts watching some of the single A stuff. High level of talent. It's really cool.
We've certainly seen some high level of talent on display here. We're seeing New Plymouth girls getting the upper hand at the moment on Manurewa, but Manurewa now on the bonus for the next 4 minutes. Can they capitalise from the free throw line? Got a violation there.
Do you believe that the New Plymouth girls are playing that hard just because they're scared of Auntie?
There's a strong possibility. Certainly his daughter, I'm sure, has experienced that once or twice, but he's actually looking a lot calmer as a coach than what he is as a player, so he's certainly looking very composed at the moment.
They do have the lead. This is also helpful.
Great use of handoffs there from New Plymouth girls, and Macy Death converts the easy little floater, and we'll go to the line to make it an old-fashioned three-point play.
Macy Death's having a fantastic game, very aggressive attacking the hoop, and being rewarded with an N1 there. Unfortunately can't convert. Just want to say thank you to both of you guys for allowing me to be in the commentary booth with you today. Obviously, get to walk around the courts, see a beautiful steal from Bailey Noel. Oh, got caught in between two minds there, whether to pass, but no, obviously great to be up here joining you guys and sharing what's a fantastic game between two talented sides.
Well, I was going to say, it's great to have a CEO of the sport that isn't afraid to jump on the mic and help out.
No, always a pleasure to be on the mic, and as we see, a 2-on-1 situation, unfortunately. Great hands there, and Plymouth girls coming away.
I mean, for you as the boss and doing this job, how are you feeling in this year, knowing in past years you've just been here as dad? Yeah,
it's actually a lot less stressful when you don't have children playing in it. So it's and to me, it doesn't matter who wins every game. I'm just wanting basketball to be the winner on the day. That old cliche, but when you have an invested interest with your children playing, it's always, you go into games hoping for their sake that they win, so that they come and hop in the car happy.
No, it really is. It's a fantastic tournament, and it's a great week. And I've walked around and chatting to some people. It's been really entertaining, just talking to people in various roles of coach, manager, sometimes just mum or dad, and the stress levels of different people. Considering some of the people are just coming down to watch, those people seem a lot more relaxed, just wandering in, checking out a game or two, and there's nothing. Just like you said, basketball's the winner on the day, and we're good to go.
Yeah, it's always good when you come into these tournaments with you lower your expectations and you just want to, you know, to be good basketball being played. But once the ball gets tipped up and thrown up in the air, the nerves start kicking. A beautiful pass inside.
Doesn't roll there, but they're going to get the ball back as the tūrapa couldn't be corralled by Death. It's going to stay a Manurewa ball. Miles, you must have pretty low stress levels this year, not having to coach, just being able to spectate.
This has been great. Just wandering around, checking out some talent, and it's interesting. My phone absolutely went nuts. You see a great break and finish there.
Ruby Hounds with the finish.
My phone went crazy after our 16 boys. After that final, I woke up to some messages and had phone calls from a number of different colleges asking about the Crate kid, the Goodman kid, who's this Jones kid, you know. So, you know, the world is watching our kids and the ability here to live stream and get that out. So I'm just here enjoying and sending a couple of text messages to some people. Just keep an eye on New Zealand.
Yeah, the good thing is that the talent on display on both the men's and women's side, we've got these, you know, college scouts that are heavily watching our players and, you know, showing a lot of interest in the talent we've got. As we see another beautiful finish there from Macy Death. Yeah, we're just seeing the talent, you know, and that's being rewarded by these coaches wanting these players on their teams. And, you know, we're going to see a lot of players this year that are offered scholarships after this Nationals. As we see Macy Death on the defensive end, getting her hands on the ball and ragdolling Princess Arlen into...
I believe you did that to me in a few games. You just beat me up and threw me to the floor.
If people could only see the size of you compared to me, they would definitely not believe that, Miles.
That would always be attacked, though, wouldn't it, Dylan? Just like, how am I doing it to him?
Yeah.
That was always my excuse to the referees.
Like, how did PC ever take a charge? And I know he took a number. Like, this was, like, I could run into PC, but he ain't falling over. One of the strongest humans in the world.
Yeah, Pero Cameron, one of his biggest strengths, apart from his size and strength, is his basketball IQ, and he certainly had a knack of being able to, you know, bait players into, you know, knocking them down and convincing the referee that those were charges. But again, it's you know, what a fantastic you know, role model for basketball in New Zealand to show a kid from up Northland making it to the All-Star 5 in the FIBA World Cup in 2002. And
right now, it's fantastic for PC because he gets to play dad mode with Flynn signing with Melbourne United and Tobias being in the Sal's NBL this year playing for Taranaki. You know, it's what a great system, both those guys being part of our junior All Blacks and coming through the ranks and now playing professionally. So just proud dad moment. I'm sure you've had a few of those.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's also got his daughter in college at the moment as well, so who also played on our national junior team, and now he's got nieces and nephews playing in this tournament, you know, so the Cameron name is going to be around in basketball for a long time, I'm sure, and we're going to see plenty of success with that surname. You know, the likes of Mata Cameron, the mother, who's a basketball lifer, and you'll still see her on the sidelines to this day. Has done a great job with Northland basketball over the years.
Great to see sister Jodie as well getting a title this year in the Tauhi League with the Northern Kahu.
Oh, absolutely. Jodie's, I spoke to her right after that final, and you know, she expected to win and you know, thought she had the best team, but you still got to go out there and deliver, and they certainly did in that final. They were the most dominant team all season, I think, and you know, obviously adding Tess Madgen to that lineup was a great move and took them to a new level. But yeah, she did a great job herself, and Liam Walker coaching that Kahu team.
Well, hopefully we see more quality players like Tess come over, and it really does fit well with the Australian season. I know that the Tauihi seasons, it's compact, and so it just gives the ability for some of those top-level athletes like Tess Madgen the chance to play in the Australian League and then come here and play as well, and not necessarily wear down their body like some people did playing between Australia and New Zealand for years and years and years.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see Macy Death getting to the free throw line with that aggressive offense, unable to knock down the first. But yeah, the experience we can give these Australian athletes, they'll go back and talk about it, and you'll see more and more of them coming out here, I'm sure, in the future. Unfortunately, there was a violation as it didn't hit the rim, and ball needs to hit the rim.
She can giggle about that now.
It's easy to giggle when you've got a decent lead. If it was a bit closer, she'd probably be a little bit more disappointed, but she's got nothing to be disappointed. Her game today has been outstanding, as we see here in the passing lanes again.
That was such a big coup to get Tess Madgen. I mean, as well, other teams are probably going to be looking, okay, we've got to raise our level moving forward to take down the Kahu in 2024.
Every time a season finishes, as we see a nice little pull-up, Jay, every time a season finishes, you're always trying to build a team that can beat the team that just won it. So the Kahu will have a big mark across them to be able to have teams try to beat them. As you may see Death line it up from the three-point line. Great.
And you say that, and that's basically what the Kahu did, losing to the Queens in year one of Tauihi.
That's exactly what they
together,
did.
You know, there's some hurt feelings when you lose in a final.
And they didn't even have their point guard.
Yeah, that's
right. Tale Tupaia, who was injured all season.
And so that whole idea of like, okay, that's the benchmark. Well, we're coming after you, and we're coming strong. Whenever
you make it to a final and you don't succeed, and especially the fashion they lost in the game they probably thought they should have won and probably could have won. You're right, that extra motivation there to win a championship, but what we saw in the Tauihi League this year was just some unbelievably close competition, and if you didn't bring it on the night, you weren't going to win. So unfortunately for the teams this year was the Kahu's year, but they had a great year, and Jody will be looking to put that same squad back together.
A little short on that free throw. All right, so here's the question. In the way too early pick, who's Sal's NBL champion? Who's Tauihi champion next time round?
Oh, wow. Considering no contracts have even been on paper, that's a really tough one.
This is what I meant. It's the way too early pick. Can Judd and the Rams repeat?
I tell you what, if Judd Favour has anything to do with, there's a very high chance they will. And certainly now
I'm a little bit hurt that you did. Thanks.
When you get that taste of success, you want it more. And Judd's had it on several occasions, I think, with 3 different teams now. So he'll be wanting to continue that success. But as you talked about, the Saints are a team that's driven by success, and they haven't had any in recent years. So there's no doubt Jordan Mills and his team there will be looking to rebuild and reignite that winning ways with their sold-out crowds down there.
So can the Kahu repeat?
100%. I have 100% confidence that the Kahu can and may repeat, and it does help that I'm from Auckland, so have a bit of a biased opinion, but I wouldn't put it past the Queens. The fire will be loading up as we see a deep three. Beautiful.
The Kuruwhiwhi Tori is good. Lauren Abrams, and it's 35-17. New Plymouth Girls over Manurewa High.
That is a coach killer for Manurewa again. That deep three on the buzzer, but New Plymouth Girls will be taking that confidence into the halftime break.
We're going to take a quick break here in the commentary booth, and we'll be back with the second half in just a few minutes.
This is an opportunity that we can't pass on. Ladies and gentlemen,
this isn't about what we wore back in the day.
We're going to go now. Going once, going twice. No more offers. Sold!
It's about being trusted to get a better result for our clients since 1973.
Hey, sport is about more than just the game. It's about going from teammates to best mates. It's the high fives and helping hands. It's saluting when to back yourself or back your buddies. It's actually being excited to get out of bed early on a Saturday. Sport is about more than just the game. That's why Caltex is proud to help fuel school sports.
From us, it's a huge thank you to New Zealand Carbon Farming. The opportunities and the sponsorship that's been provided is pretty crucial for our school.
We're buying new volleyball gear, so volleyball nets, balls, and the stands to attach the volleyball nets to the floor. Volleyball is a very popular sport. Kids find it to be fun.
We'd just like to thank you from Tauranga High School. See.
Funding is a real challenge. We know that a lot of schools face that ongoing, and the reality is if you go to a lower decile school in New Zealand, you are less likely to be able to afford to participate in sport.
Obviously, having come through it myself with kids and being one of those kids myself who played sport, I know how much it defined who I was. And now being able to go, I can't fix it all, but we can help and try and give to those people who are going through very tough times.
Welcome back here to Fly Palmy Arena on the show court. Andrew Horrocks alongside Miles Pearce. Dylan Boucher has had to get back to the desk and take on some real issues at hand that are bigger and better than commentating with us. But Miles, talk us through what the lunch order was that we took you away from.
Mate, Moxie's Cafe,
Ooh.
just up on George Street. I had the Elvis. Delicious, the Elvis. Yeah.
Talk me through it.
So we've got fried eggs, hash browns, bacon with hollandaise sauce and sweet chili sauce on the top.
Yeah, I don't blame you at all for not rushing back
really
from
good.
that.
It's really good. It's also me not being able to read a text message properly. You know, Geordie, I know you're going to listen to this, but Geordie probably won't listen to it back. But
no one does.
My ability to read. It's only day 2 as well.
Is.
How am I messing up this bad?
Mate, Nationals brain gets you I mean, coaching's a lot easier, right? You know exactly when your games are. You know exactly who you've got to scout.
I'll blame everyone else for that, knowing it's fully my fault.
You probably got too much sleep.
Oh no, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. Because and you know, it's been great. You know, Brent was here when we commentated yesterday, Dylan today, and you know, just the ability to walk. And Aaron Noel was a long time adversary of mine playing, and you know, he beat me up a lot, just like Dylan did. And you know, the ability to walk from here at show court down to court 1 at the other end. I mean, we got 9 courts going. I don't think Brent and I tried to leave here the other day. I don't think we got more than 2 meters before someone stopped and said hello to one of it. You know, that's a 45-minute trip. You know, for walking down 9 courts. So it's so much fun. Just catching up with people and seeing people, and you start to feel a little older. You know, Aaron's here coaching his daughter. You know, it's just so cool to see some of these guys giving back.
Manurewa in the yellow are going to get us underway first. Beautiful Campbell there with the handoff. And disrupted passing lanes means it's going to be a new Plymouth girls ball. Perfect start for them defensively in this third quarter, up 35-17.
A handy little lead as we see a little extra pressure there. Unfortunately, the gamble doesn't quite pay off.
Manurewa happy in the first half to sit back, but a bit of a coach's adjustment here to start quarter number 3. Yeah, Miles, you're right about that. It takes so long, doesn't it? Because there's always a story to be told or an old friend to see. As away with the tūrapa comes Manurewa.
And just like the kids spend so long competing against each other. And I know that there's some pools with some schools from the same region and district, but for a lot of these kids, they get to know each other over the years competing. And even teams from the North Island and South Island, they come here, they compete, they get to see each other, they go to tournaments like the Hoop Nation tournament. There's so many chances for the athletes to interact. It's pretty social for them as well.
It's always cool as well. There's a different vibe when you're in your association colours versus your school colours. That sense of pride definitely swells. Great entry there, but ran out of time on the shot clock.
Well, and this is why I love the high school national tournament. Oh, we see that great outlet pass.
Off the tūrapa, and the kuru tautuku is good, and that's going to call a timeout from Aaron Bailey-Noel. Still the calmest I've seen him, I think, in a very, very long time.
Yeah, I'm impressed and surprised. A little bit of both. But as you're mentioning, the school colours, I love this tournament because of some of these kids, particularly the year 13s. Well, I've spent 5 years with you. We went through juniors, we hang out in class together, we got in trouble together, whatever it might be. And now we get to come here and do it with our friends, whereas some of the association things are, you know, a region from Palmy, for example, we got some kids from different high schools all coming together. But these guys here, they will spend all day, every day in class together, hang out at lunch, you know, that bond and that relationship that you build through at school. And some of them even goes further than just high school. Might be intermediate, we've been friends through primary school, all that stuff. And so just the ability to come out and go to battle and play with your friends like that is something very, very special.
Manurewa already back out on the court in New Plymouth, just making their way back out. Miles, you were wandering around the courts a lot this morning. Was there anything that stood out to you in any of the games you saw?
Look, the competitive play of every school here, even in some games that weren't necessarily tight down the stretch, no team has given up. Everyone is playing hard right to the last buzzer, and it really is just a fantastic thing to see. Kids here getting experience, as we see, an almost steal.
Great kick to the corner, Kuruwhiwhi Toru on the way. And out come Manurewa again ahead of the break. Beautiful Campbell is fouled. Draws the hara. Great work there from Manurewa, really, to have the eyes up to be able to find that kick ahead pass.
And that's a couple so far this quarter, and Coach Bailey-Noel was a little nervous about that early timeout. Their transition, they need to tidy up their transition D. They got a happy lead here, eating away, down to 15 now. But they can't just give up those easy transition kick-aheads.
They're the biggest blessing, aren't they, when you're a coach who's down, to be able to get those easy transition points. As Heroes in the other end, 3-on-1. And almost well kept in there from Waimahi Hetarata Brown.
Might have been a shoelace on the line there, but the referee was in a great position to make that call.
Nice little out of bounds set here from Aaron Bailey-Noel. Into the dribble handoff. Kuruwhiwhi Toru is long off the tapa. And out come again Manurewa. But it's just those active hands defensively that are allowing opposition players to catch the ball handlers unaware. Fight for the tūrapa, and again it's Waimahi Hetarata Brown. Puts up the layup off the tapa, and the tūrapa is not going to be corralled. And will be a New Plymouth ball.
Quick shout out to Michelle Swain, who's tuning in and watching her nieces play for Manurewa.
Awesome. It's the great thing, isn't it, for the people that aren't able to make the trip down, to be able to showcase this is a great steal here for Manurewa. Emily Tanera gets it back off the give and go.
And that one deserved to go. That was a great find, a great little pass. So great back cut. Manurewa with a couple of really good looks at it. Can't get them to go.
And it's one of those ones, isn't it, as a coach, where you're almost praising the decision-making over the outcome, because everything they're doing is the correct thing that you'd want to coach. It's just not executing at this current point in time. And if they can get those to go, well, they're right back in the game, because it's only 14 points. It's gettable.
And just such a long time to go in the game. We're 3 minutes into the third quarter.
Here is Manurewa. Campbell gets fouled. And she will shoot some kuru tautukus for Manurewa. High foul count as well, both in the first and second quarter. So, Miles, we saw a couple of foul outs last night. We might see a few more in this one.
Yeah, and you know, it's one of those things that athletes at any level, you know, we got Sal's Toihi, you know, if the referees are calling stuff, then as an athlete, you need to adjust. So if they're letting you get away with a little bit more rough and tumble, take that. If they're blowing the whistle a little bit more and calling it, you got to adjust and make sure that you can stay in the game.
The long pass works out, and Ruby Helms is the recipient with the easy kurufaka'u. And back out to 15 points here for New Plymouth. They lost their first 2 games, first to Mount Maunganui and then to St Andrews, so this is a big one for them to try and get their first W on the board for the 2023 Nationals. Inbound out of a box set. Opens out into an on-ball screen, open space. And the beautiful jump shot there for Taisha Tanera. And Miles, maybe just an adjustment needed on their full court press. Maybe just trying to trap a little bit too soon.
And it depends what they're trying to get out of that trap. Are we just trying to speed people up? Are we trying to slow down and make them use more clock? Or actually trying to steal and gamble on those ones? But you're right, you got to be very careful on where you pick to trap. And what can the ball handler see? Because if they can see the trap coming, well, they're able to get rid of the ball. As we see that shot a little short there.
Again, away come New Plymouth through Sophia Louis. Looking for that high post option. Away come Manurewa again, 2-on-2. Now 3-on-3, puts the head down to the hoop. And beautiful finish from Shirley Tuilemu.
Cuts the lead to 11.
And the foul is called. Well done there, Geordie Sands, to grab the tūrapa. And for her effort, will take a seat. As you're to see multiple subs on both sides.
Girls have been playing at a pretty high pace and of great intensity, so not surprised both coaches going to the bench here.
Screen the screener, almost like a mini fake elevator screen there. Kurufifi Toru hits the Papamuri and ends up in the hands of Manurewa High.
Oh, love the hustle.
Here's Bailey Knoll, and the wrap layup is good from Kasia. Dad's got to be happy with that one.
It is something that I don't think I ever saw Aaron have that much agility and deft touch in his whole playing career. So Dad obviously passing on and teaching some skills that he didn't have.
I was saying to Dylan, it's always an interesting one that the coaches' daughters always end up to be point guards. So Bailey Flavel last night. Dylan's daughter Mackenzie as well was a point guard.
Well, I was round with Nick Horvath a little while ago, former Tall Black, and his son Atlas is now in year 5, and we're watching an NBA game during the season. And Atlas watching the game as we see the ball get a little bit of a wedgie. Atlas looks and turns to Nick and says, "Dad, why would they do that against the drop coverage?" So clearly a basketball brain and basketball future Tall Black in the making right there with an IQ like that, picking apart the NBA guys. Like, why are you doing that against the drop coverage? Come on.
We're already starting to see as well in New Zealand that second generation. I mean, you look at the Websters, who are in the middle of their professional careers, and it's great to see the athletes who their kids probably didn't even put the pressure on them to want to become basketballers. But
those two have done okay. I think I've heard that Webster name before. But you're right, it really is. We get, catching up. You see Hayden Jones. I saw him walk in a little earlier, straight off the plane from Asia's. I know Ed Book's kids have had some great success here at this tournament. And now all 3 of them are in the States plying their trade at school. So it really is cool to see some, and that's just only a couple to mention. But it's great to see some of those guys, they're whānau coming through, and we see Pukekohe walking in on the other end, and Brody's done some amazing things to that mullet of his.
Well, we're saying it under 23s. It looks like Legolas.
No, he doesn't.
I was asking this morning, is he going to go for the arrow celebration when he hits the Kuruwhiwhi Toru?
I'd like to say, Legolas, that's giving a lot of credit where credit is not due. I'll go and chat to Brody. It was really cool to be a part of that 17s group that he was part of as the coaching staff. As we see the easy steal and the breakaway.
Shirley Tuilemo has no issues putting that one up and in on the Kuru Whakau, and 11-point game here.
And they've done a great job. Manurewa have done a really good job eating into that lead. They just haven't been able to crack that double digits back down to singles. It's another little drive.
Fight for the loose ball. And it's going to be a Manurewa ball and a chance here for the first time in a long time to make this a single-digit game. And as you alluded to a while ago, Miles, there's still just about 14 minutes to play, so time's not going to be the issue in this comeback.
No, not at all.
Jump shot is long and a run out. Here comes Bailey Noel, great dish off. But again, Manurewa coming out with the tūrapa. And it's a 3-on-2 on the other end. Dish off. And she'll claim that was a pass off the backboard. That leads to the foul. And Manurewa are going to shoot some kuru tautukus. Converts the first off the tapa, gets the friendly roll. As we see the table tennis being used in the background. Don't forget as well, you can come down. There's Connect 4 as well, some cornhole.
My old joints, that's about the tempo I got. Some cornhole. I did tune into ESPN, just channel flicking the other day.
Still back on there?
Cornhole championships.
It's crazy the things that they find to broadcast over in the States.
Oh, there's TV 24 hours a day and 6,000 channels. They got to fill it with some.
Nearly saved there from Manurewa, but away come the New Plymouth Girls High. 3-on-3 is blocked. And Sophie Wilkinson is fouled. That's going to be the 4th team foul now on Manurewa, so won't be shots. But yeah, ended up pretty handy at cornhole, did you?
No, terrible at it, but I enjoy playing it. Connect 4, it's a thinking man's game. Like, I'm okay there. If it comes down, I can use 2 things. I can use brute force and I can use ignorance. Those are my strengths. The rest of that, we'll see. The finesse game, I'll leave that to other people.
And we're going to see a referee's timeout taken here, just to have a look at the score bench. And a big thank you as well to Basketball Manawatu, who have found 36 volunteers for each round to do our score benches. Hard enough to herd some commentators, Miles, let alone 4 people for each bench for every round of the day. It's certainly an impressive effort.
And not 36 volunteers. 36 volunteers for each round. And unfortunately for the teams that get that first, that early round, that's a long day. That's a lot of rounds. First round, 9 a.m., last round, 7:30. And it seems like games are tipping off every minute. And we had a couple of overtime games and pushed some things later. It was a late night for some.
But I tell you what, nothing gets you out of bed. Like having a look at the draw, seeing some big games in that 9 a.m. round and thinking I've got to get down and see that.
I did sleep through an alarm this morning. I'm not going to lie. It was fairly impressive.
Daylight saving is kicking some people's butts at the moment. I'm struggling a little bit with it.
No idea. I picked up my phone, checked the time, started going about my day, and then looked at the watch on the clock on the microwave. I was like, hang on, hang on, wait. And I went and looked at we got another clock on. Hang on, what? Went and checked my phone again, and I realized quickly that I was in 2 different time zones at the same time.
Still a discussion going on. Don't forget, of course, we've got plenty of action still coming up on this court. This is only game 1. We've still got another game coming up at 2:15, and then 5:45 and 7:30 p.m. All broadcast on Whakata Māori on YouTube. And a big thank you to Bailey's Molten, New Zealand Carbon Farming, Caltex, Apollo Projects, and New Zealand Community Trust, and of course, Glory League, who are filming every single game on every court, and Pure Athletic. How good are the new uniforms for our age group teams, Miles? Looking pretty slick.
They are indeed. They are indeed. And the quality of that gear is top notch. I've seen some of that gear up close, and I'll be trying to get my hands on a little bit more.
As we're going to see a shot clock change. Looks like they're looking for 15 seconds on the shot clock. No, it's going to be 16. So the new Plymouth 2 inbound. Good defense here from Manurewa. Get the steal, and away they come. Chance to cut it to single digits. Great kick ahead, and the foul is drawn. Beautiful Campbell took it to the hoop and draws the hara with a chance for some kuru tautukus.
I love the pace that some of these teams are playing. You know, the ability to get out and run and get out and transition. It's an exciting thing to watch. So now I'd love to just see, you know, so a little more spacing sometimes, you know, coming from some teams that we've got the ball, we're all trying to get on the rim together, whether I've got the ball or not. Some of the teams can play with a little more spacing. As we see a drive down the lane there, offensive rebound.
See a great wrap pass, and again, Macy Death. And they've got a long list of representative players, do New Plymouth girls, yet Macy Death isn't one of them, so unsure what's happened there. Miles maybe has some other things on, but you've got to think Taranaki have got to be looking to get her into some age group basketball in 2024.
And you know what? There are so many things to do as a kid these days that sometimes there's just not enough hours in the day.
As there might be an accidental elbow there to the face, but play on, Manurewa finish it, and it's back to 10, 43-33.
And this is for Manurewa, this is the danger time, I suppose, is their pressure gives up an easy 2 at the paint.
Ruby Helms in the right place to be the recipient of that great pass. Yeah, we're seeing 4 players very, very high, aren't we, for Manurewa within that press.
And the pressure has got them, you know, they've cut that lead. They've got it down to 10 and 11 a couple of times, but they just haven't been able to bridge that gap and get it back to single figures. But that's the danger. That's the trade-off. The pressure can speed up the game and you can force some turnovers, but if you get beaten, you've got players up the floor trying to trap and get steals. Unfortunately, you can give up an easy one. So coach just, you know, figuring out what he's going to give up to what he's going to get with the style and systems that he's put in place.
Can averts the second one. And so New Plymouth up 11 again, able to dribble through that pressure. Here is Death. Kuru Fifi Toru is along on that one, and the rebound for Ruby Helms. Kasia almost gets stripped, crosses over into Bloody Nose Lane, step through, and is called for the foul, and that will be in the bonus free throws here for Manurewa. Bailey Knoll just asking the question of why they're reaching, but again, this is perfect Manurewa. Don't lose any time and a chance to put points on the board.
And I don't know a single coach that doesn't want to get to the foul line, you know, particularly when you're down. As you mentioned, clock stops. You've got to be able to knock those down. You see the first one goes, beautiful form, lefty.
Why is it all left-handers can shoot? How does that work out?
I don't know if all lefty. Okay, well, I'll buy that for $1. Why not?
As another foul is drawn there from Shirley Tuilemu. You know, you ask the question sometimes of who the best shooter in New Zealand history is, and Phil Jones is always very quick to say, well, I'm going to be the best left-handed shooter.
Yeah, I don't know about that left-handed business. He's just a flat-out great shooter. Although Kirk may fight him on the best shooter thing, but you're right, Phil is definitely up there.
Converts both, and suddenly 45-37, 8-point game. Any closer, Miles, at three-quarter time, and it's going to be a massive win. You've got to feel for Manurewa High as they get another steal. Oh, what a find.
Great wraparound pass and finish.
Waimihi Heterata Brown with the layup off the assist from Shirley Tuilemu. And that is going to be the 4th team foul on Manurewa High. So not shooting just yet for New Plymouth girls. One minute and a change to play in quarter number 3. Finds the roller beautifully, and the turn and finish from Sophie Wilkinson. Much needed basket here for New Plymouth just to slow the momentum. And interestingly, that was reset to 14 seconds on the shot clock. Should have been 24, but travel is called, so it's not going to make a difference.
And this is a big time, just over 40 seconds to go. Manurewa have done a great job. They've clearly won this quarter. But if they can finish now with a couple of stops and a couple of scores, there's the stop that they need. That's going to make it a very interesting 4th quarter.
Haley Noel there in the background, getting a little bit more animated, wanting a travel call. There is a New Plymouth girls. Little handoff there for Charlotte Butler. Trying to find Death, and she is fouled. Offensive foul given. But not a loose ball foul, Miles, so won't be shooting. 15 seconds to play. Manurewa, last shot of the quarter.
What can they generate here? Will they put some time back on the clock?
Yeah, that was 15. No time put back on the clock. Under 10 seconds to play. Quarter number 3. Kurififi Toru attempt is up from beautiful Campbell. And off the Papamuri and the Tapa. And so that's going to do it for quarter number 3. New Plymouth Girls High 47, Manurewa High School 39. 8-point game, Miles. Still plenty of time for this to go either way.
Yeah, really. And, you know, with the value of the three-pointer and the amount that people can shoot, if an 8-point game going into the 4th, that can be blown wide open. If someone gets hot, knocks down some threes, this game is up to anyone. And you see it in the NBA, and some teams have got 15, 20-point leads and lose in the end. And you see people scratch their heads and ask why. Well, it's the three-point shot. If someone gets hot at the right time, you're blowing them out by more, or unfortunately that gap is going to close very quickly.
I find it wild, especially last season. You saw a lot of games that had 25, 30-point leads at halftime, and then suddenly that team comes back and wins. And as you said, it just comes back to getting hot at the right time, that shooting, and it can just turn the game on its head.
Well, we saw that yesterday with the game, the Rosmini game. For some reason, they just didn't get a hand up, and one of the guys knocked down.
Yeah, young Strother.
Knocked down 5, 6, 3, maybe more in the end. And you know, the first one or two were open. He gets his eye in, feeling good, and And I bet Coach Ricky Strother was very happy with the shooting right there.
Would have been a little head scratcher as well for Coach Matt Lacey. Takes a lot of pride in his defensive effort of his teams.
I've been lucky enough to work with Matt at some New Zealand camps and some regional camps, and watching him teach and coach defense is amazing. So for any of those young up-and-coming coaches or even some old heads that want to learn more about that side of the ball, Matt Lacey is a great resource if you can annoy him and pin him down for long enough.
There is a resource on YouTube. During COVID, Harbour Basketball ran a little Zoom seminar with Matt, which you can find on their YouTube channel, breaking down some of his philosophies and how he likes to build it out from the start of the season and through to what we're seeing now. As Beautiful Campbell is fouled and will go to the line. As you can hear, Auntie's voice is getting a little bit louder in the background. I don't know if it's coming through to our mics just yet, but can definitely hear it through the headphones. Converts the first. Kuru Tautuku.
You can always hear Auntie.
Long on the second, fight for the rebound. New Plymouth girls ball. Who was the loudest player you would have ever played with or against?
You know, Dylan did such a good job on the microphone before, and it's because he just never shut up. and you know, and I mean that in a great way. He was constantly talking. You could always hear his voice. Lucky enough to be in the Tall Blacks with him, and you know, guys like him, just you always knew what was going on behind you. I got your back. I'm left. I'm right. Whatever it might be. And it's really, really reassuring as a teammate to have that, as we see New Plymouth girls get the breakaway and finish there, just to push that lead back out to 9.
You always see, I find, in age group teams, particularly in the younger age groups, if you've got one or two kids that can, as you say, never shut up and can talk a lot and help their teammates explaining where other people are, it makes the world of difference.
And I think that this is something that athletes need to understand, that the level of communication from you, you know, whether it's the talking bit or the listening part of the communication, it's so important. And coaches are looking for athletes that can do this. And it is so valuable at both ends of the floor. It's valuable from the bench. And so that ability, unfortunately, you can't Snapchat everyone during the game. Leave that for after the game. But that ability to communicate and organize, that is so, so valuable. And, you know, I've noticed it here. And some of the teams that look great on offense or great on defense are just because they've got one person, and it's not always the coach, but one person who is just organizing others. Some may deem it a little bossy, telling people what to do, but it's just that level of organization and communication.
Foul called there on the rebound. And that's going to go against Sophie Wilkinson. Again, just a little push in the back on the rebound. And that is her 5th personal foul. That is a game changer in this one. Such an influential piece for New Plymouth Girls High.
You know, she was doing a great job down low, clean up glass, making plays, extra passes. We see New Plymouth come up with another steal. Just mishandle from Manurewa.
Nice little on-ball screen there. Step through. Bailey Knoll, short, and again, away come Manurewa. Happy just to compose there off the on-ball screen. Pass out to the corner. Beautiful Campbell to the hoop and converts. 49-43, 8 minutes to play. And another steal. Oh, what a finish with the left hand as well.
Coach Bailey Knoll calling that timeout. A couple of minutes into this 4th quarter, and Manurewa have done a great job applying that pressure, forcing some turnovers, and then converting on the other end.
That's the 2nd timeout taken this half by New Plymouth girls, so only 1 timeout to play with now, Miles. for the last 8 minutes.
And Brent was saying you always want that one in your back pocket for later on, and I'm sure this situation, particularly in a close one, you know, the closer you are, the ability to call that timeout and advance the ball, you know, as down the stretch and as the game gets close to the end. Aaron's now used 2 to try and stop the run from Manurewa. So let's see what he can draw up here. Let's see what he can create and see if the girls can execute.
As we see in the background, a bit of a milling as people coming in and out of courts. The great migration between rounds.
Games are coming to an end. We see the exodus of athletes, coaches, friends, whānau, ready to take a break before they head back.
Straight to Cooper Street. Go get a coffee.
Just refuel the body and mind. You don't get a break. You're calling 700 games this week. Oh, great extra pass. Again, that's some of the spacing I was talking about earlier. We just, you know, the girls, great drive and kick, but no one really got back out of spaces. We see a tough one, offensive rebound. Can't get that to go.
And those are ones when you get that second chance, you really want to convert it. As away come Manurewa, little Euro step and finish from Shirley Tuilemu. One possession game now. That trap is working so well for Manurewa to slow down New Plymouth girls.
It really has changed the game. Manurewa just changing that up as we see short on the 3 attempt.
And called a foul. That's going to be the first foul on Manurewa. But I feel Miles Macy Death cannot be far away. Currently on the bench for New Plymouth. I mean, probably the best player on the court for most of the game.
And that may be a rest thing, a foul thing. To be inside the mind of Aaron Bailey-Knowles, we see a lovely drive and kick there.
Great Kuruwhiwhi Horu attempt is long, which leads to the offense of Tūrapa up and in. Fight for the rebound, and again Manurewa one-on-one in the full court to the hoop, and the finish. Tie ball game. Waimehi Heterata Brown. And Aaron Bailey-Knowles trying to get some subs in to stop the bleeding here. It's been all Manurewa in quarter number 4. We're down 17 at halftime. Have worked hard to wipe that out, and now still 6 minutes to play. Ambitious pass that time.
Don't mind a little ambitious from time to time. But you're right, Aaron Bailey-Knowles trying to figure out what's going on. They've generated some very good looks. They've had a couple around the basket that didn't go, as we see a great drive. And hopefully this can get the scoreboard, get to the foul line, get the scoreboard ticking back over, see a couple go through.
Well, there's a chance as well, isn't it, for a little huddle of the team just to talk through what they're seeing on the court. As we're going to see Libby Tito into the game, and Geordie Sands back in as well. As we welcome Mel Bennett to the commentary booth. Will be joining me for the next one, but in the meantime...
Kia ora, how are you?
Okay.
How's the backcourt action going? We've only got one to see. You were wandering around the other 8.
No, I was actually I've been sitting in the stands watching this game.
Oh, how boring. We've been watching this one. We were looking for other information.
Oh, no, I haven't been over the other side, but this is a up and down contest, right? So New Plymouth girls started hot.
Yeah, they started great. Manurewa, they've put on that press and managed to force some turnovers, and they're right back in this game.
No, I was interested in watching actually Kasia Bailey-Knowles and Emily Tanera, who's in our wider squad for the NZ group. So she's carrying an ankle injury at the moment. So.
Oh, so am I. So am I. Unfortunately, it's just a little bit of old age. I haven't done anything in years. Nothing at all.
As we're having a look there at the great drive from Kesia Bailey Knoll, goes to the line first. Kuru Tautuku is good, tied back up, 51 apiece.
Mel, I've got to ask you this question. With the success you've had this year with the Phi and with the 16 girls qualifying for the Worlds next year, how have you found the quality of basketball across the women's, the girls' competition here this week? And I know it's only day 2, so what are your thoughts on competition in general, not just this game?
It is only day 2. I've found that the 12 girls that are here that have played Tauahi throughout the season, they're spread out amongst probably 8 teams here. Just the fitness, the physicality, the tough shot making, the leadership, the confidence. I really enjoyed watching that. Like, they're a level above everybody else. So I think that competition has helped. The girls that went on international tour, the Bailey Flavels, the Palace Hokiangas, have come through, and they're just, shown absolute class at this tournament, which is helping to uplift the game in general. And it looks like I'm just enjoying watching the different coaching styles and style of play that every team has. There's a lot of teams that are playing very conceptually, but I've also seen a lot of zone defence. I don't know if that's a trend usually, but...
No, it's interesting you mentioned the zone, because we talked about this last night when we were calling a game, as we see another offensive rebound and another offensive rebound, a couple of great offensive rebounds, open 3, a little bit to the left, but the conversation around that zone was, once you get to an international event, you realise how little zone there really is.
Very much so.
And particularly in Asia, where it seems that we play Japan, Korea, other countries, they are full court the whole time, right up in your face, and that added pressure. They're not necessarily trapping, but they are just man-to-man, full court, annoying as heck the whole game.
They are annoying, and it's not a matter of them riding you down the sideline. Everywhere you turn, they're in front to meet you, and it's very physical. So that's the difference here. Difference in New Zealand is the officiating tend to call a lot more. So a lot of stoppages, hard to get some flow. But no, it's been enjoyable to watch, especially the younger girls. Like Kasia's, she's very young. Carried her team yesterday, so had a 27-point game. And there's some awesome talent coming through.
Great find and finish. Bella Manu Moore, and it's a 4-point lead now for Manurewa and Mel. Aaron Bailey Knowles only got 1 timeout as well to play with 4 minutes, so that's a juggling act as well. But that's going to help.
New Plymouth good, definitely. New Plymouth girls high can answer back finally. Get a couple more points on that board.
And how much louder has the crowd got in these last few minutes, Miles? It was quiet in the first half, and now as it comes down to winning time, as again Manu Moore scores, there's a bit more atmosphere in the building.
Well, there is indeed, and we talked about the exodus of teams that are finishing on other courts and walking through, and this is a close game. So some people are just walking past, seeing the scoreboard and stopping to check out the finish of this one.
Offensive foul called there on Manurewa. It's going to be New Plymouth girls ball. Still a heap of time in a 4-point game. It was a 17-point game at half-time. New Plymouth were up now. Manurewa up 4. Kesia leaves that one short, and the tūrapa into the hands of Tuilemu. Mal, is there anything you're seeing from either side that they could maybe adjust to get themselves on the right side of the ledger by the end of this one?
Sorry, what was that, Andrew?
Is there any adjustments you could see either teams could make quickly to get themselves on the right side of the ledger?
I just think like Manurewa needs to stay in that disruptive defence and just keep that momentum going, because it's stifling the New Plymouth girls a little bit. They're hesitating a little bit. The ball's going to Kesia to try and solve problems, but then at the same time you just saw the on-ball screen set quite high, and then what are the solutions for the coverages? I don't think they're actually looking at that, because when Kesia drove into the keyhole just then, she had some receiver spots open, but just tunnel vision to the hoop at the moment. And that's going to come with experience as such a young player.
You talk about that. We had some similar issues sometimes in the South NPL this year with
exactly.
It's tough. You know what? Because you're trying to force the defense to make a decision, and then try and read the decision that they make to make your own decision. And the only way you can do that is playing with eyes up. And unfortunately, you're right. The experience and the skill level all combines to be able to create that vision and create the decision. And then you need to be able to execute the skill. As we see New Plymouth girls get to the foul line.
This is crucial for them. The Kurutautuku is short, but both teams now in the bonus, so any unnecessary physicality from either side, and they will be shooting. Leaves both short, but gets the offensive rebound. Head down from Aldershore. And away come Manurewa with the tūrapa through Manu Moore. And the way that they're playing Wahine to Wahine, it almost looks like a 2-3 zone, but just the way that they're sitting in.
Yeah, I just think too that they're allowing Manurewa to be able to bring the ball down the floor so there's no defensive stops in transition. I think they need to be aggressive. Just because they're in foul trouble, it doesn't mean they have to stand off, you know.
No, that you're right there. The ability to apply pressure up the floor and in the half court without fouling. You know, Manueta's press, you see them score again inside. Stretch that lead out to 8. The ability to apply pressure and be disruptive without fouling is something that we need to work on across the board, not just in this game, but you know, from under 13s up, as we see a great three.
Shot.
Well, very well timed. Under 2 minutes to play, be able to knock that down, bring the lead back to 5.
2-position lead here for Manurewa. And when you work out how many seconds there are and you divide that by 24, a little bit more pressure is going to need to apply from New Plymouth to be able to catch this lead up. Running out of possessions here.
And it's Wilkinson fouled out. She was doing a lot of the dirty work for New Plymouth. So it's great to see them, others stepping up and being able to chip in as a little mishandle and the ball spills out on the baseline.
We're going to see a timeout taken here from Manurewa. Still a minute 22 to go. Mel Bennett, do you keep the ball on the backcourt when you come back out?
Well, I think with a minute 22, it's neither here nor there. I mean, if it was less seconds on the clock, you'd have to be a bit more strategic about where you're going to inbound the ball from. But, you know, it'll be nice if they could advance here and get, a 2-point opportunity to trim that lead back within 3. So, yeah, for me, I would probably advance and look to get an opportunity to score and then just apply some full court pressure after that, whether they make or miss.
Yeah, for New Plymouth right now, they really need to figure out how to create a couple of extra possessions and get to particularly if they can get to the foul line and stop the clock.
Because all the pressure's on them right now, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm up 5 with 80 seconds to go. I feel like I'm in the driver's seat. I'm good.
Yeah, but Manurewa have got nothing to lose.
Yeah,
so
nothing.
Throw it all out there.
Yep. This is why I love tournament play, because tournament play never goes the way it should.
And he's opted not to advance.
But here's that lack of pressure that you mentioned, just the ability to walk the ball over halfway.
Great use of the pass there. And a big tūrapa.
The double team came, they got out of it and got a good shot. Just as we mentioned, the ability to get to the foul line, stop the clock.
It's a bit of a relief, isn't it, as a coach, stop the clock and a chance to score points in a 2-position game at the moment. And it leaves the first one short. Bailey Knoll. And Miles, Aaron Bailey Knoll somehow still made it through with one timeout left. So if he can keep it to a 1-position game, under 24 seconds to play. He's going to get a chance to maybe draw something up.
Well, they need to get a stop right here. That's the first thing for New Plymouth. A little reach, that little gamble and reach.
Big basket for Manurewa.
And that's who they want the ball to go to, is Emily Tanita. She's got a nice little mid-range shot.
That would be Michelle Swain's niece.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
It would be.
Michelle texts through all the way from Perth.
Yes, she has been messaging.
Yeah.
Shout out to the sis.
She was trying to get over here, but unfortunately that work thing always seems to get in the way.
I'm just wondering if they put the score on the wrong side.
No, it should be 64-59.
No one's really picked that up at the moment, so.
It was like a situation yesterday of Takapuna Grammar where we thought they were in the bonus. No one picked it up, that it should have been shooting. And they left some points on the board.
And the idea of having your staff and keep an eye on certain things.
Yes.
Big Kurufifi Toru. And that could do it. 67-57. Still 12 and a half to play. Aaron Bailey-Knoll takes a timeout, but that just goes from difficult to very, very hard for New Plymouth girls. Mal, how many plays do you have in your memory bank for situations like this that you could call on?
I've got a couple of faves, like some hammer screen plays through a 3-point corner shot, or yeah. No, it just depends on who's left on the floor at this point of the game and who can make those tough shots.
And it can be situational as well. It can be, yeah. So I know that I generally try and roll in, and this may sound nerdy, but I generally have my favourites that we've been over as a team. Yeah. I can sometimes draw some random things up that pluck out of my head, but I generally like to have a couple of favourites and then have them laminated. Yeah. By the in with my whiteboard. So
I like to take 2 or 3 whiteboards to a game, and I'll have it in-game play sitting.
On one.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's that Fly money, right?
My assistant coach can have that ready. I do have an assistant coach that has a book full of plays.
That's the Fly money. I've got multiple whiteboards. That's that Fly money. Toihi League money right there.
Thank you to our sponsor for our whiteboards, Mama Dai.
And special mention must go to Manurewa. This is their first time ever at Nationals. And they're on the precipice of getting their second victory of pool play. As the Kurufifi Toru there is long, and Manurewa. Are they going to dribble this one out? No, they're thinking of tiebreakers. And so that's going to do it here. Manurewa 67, New Plymouth 57. Miles and Mel, what did you make of that one?
Yeah, it's tough trying to get up in pool play, but for the young team that Coach Bailey-Knoll has, this is all experience. So it's great to see them out here. It's a tough loss, but I'm sure they will take away some valuable learnings from this.
Mel, any parting thoughts?
Pardon?
Any parting thoughts?
Oh, yeah, that would be absolutely gutting for them, because it was a must-win if they wanted to kind of at least get to third or second to move into the next game, because they dropped 2 games yesterday. So well done to Manurewa for bouncing back and taking over.
Yeah, there you go.
From myself, Andrew Horrocks, Miles Pearce, Mel Bennett, and New Zealand Basketball CEO Dylan Boucher, who was with us in the first half. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back in about 5 minutes for Tauranga girls taking on Epsom girls. Again, girls AA action. We'll see you then.
Funding is a real challenge. We know that a lot of schools face that ongoing, and the reality is if you go to a lower decile school in New Zealand, you are less likely to be able to afford to participate in sport.
Obviously, having come through it myself with kids and being one of those kids myself who played sport, I know how much it defined who I was. And now being able to go, I can't fix it all, but we can help and try and give to those people who are going through tough times. It's a real privilege, but you know, for us, we want to see others get involved with this. This is not a selfish thing for Apollo. This is about how can we get, whether it's construction or other businesses, to get involved in this.
There's a lot of things that kids miss out on, and so to have businesses step up and want to be involved and to help is a game changer for schools. It really is.
This is a call to action.
It was really hard to try and keep it together every day.
I need some help. Simple tools.
Is he here with his body or is he up here with his hinengaro?
For parents in need.
E tino he hena hau ki te whakapakari, i aha wano.
Tāhua. Mai te tirohanga Māori. Kids don't come with a manual with Nathan Wallace. Ki whakaata Māori, me Māori Plus.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
This isn't about long-distance calling, technology, or living overseas.
Do I have one more bid? Thank you.
We're going to go once. We're going twice.
And we are sold to the Kiwi phone bidder from Manchester.
It's about Bailey's finding buyers that others can't.
Sport is about more than just the game. It's about going from teammates to best mates. It's the high fives and helping hands. It's learning when to back yourself or back your buddies. It's actually being excited to get out of bed early on a Saturday. Sport is about more than just the game. That's why Caltex is proud to help fuel school sports.
So sponsorship from New Zealand Carbon Farming has been fantastic for our sports teams actually who went away to tournament week. We're a community who's driven by sport, but often money and the cost of travel, accommodation and uniform can be a barrier for some of our students. And to come out with a new uniform for a number of sports, particularly our basketball teams who've been away at nationals, has been uplifting for the students and for our community. The support from Carbon Farming has been wonderful.
Without them, then we wouldn't look like this.
You want your tamariki to be a part of the community. Keep getting all these feelings like he's never going to fit.
That gets pretty hard. I'm so grateful that Clara has answered those prayers.
There's just always this bias away from our tamariki. We really need this done.
Our code of compliance, it's a big thing, and we ain't gonna just stop because we're stressed.
Super kura, ki whakaata Māori, me Māori Plus.
No mai, haere mai, welcome back to the show court here for secondary school girls AA action in Pool C. Tauranga Girls College versus Epsom Girls. For myself, Andrew Horrocks, alongside Coach Mel Bennett. Welcome, Mel, today.
Oh, kia ora. Kia ora tui. Thanks for having me again, back. Yay.
Oh, lovely to have you. Always great the knowledge that you're able to drop, and even just listening to you and Miles off air discussing various topics on this tournament. Miles might even jump on at some point, but first we're going to get into the team lists. First for Epsom girls, we've got Savane Fete, Kira Tui Harlan, Ginger Midson, Andrea Apipaya, Kiara Tiamo, number 8 drawn Forbes, Maya Fowler, Hannah Fowler, Kaysen Belcher, Ksenia Reti, Talia Vea, Sienna Ha, and Olivia Edhouse. Head coach, the daughter of Nenad, Jelena Vucinic, assistant coach Taylor Tiamo, and manager Melanie Vea. And Mel, because they're a team close to your heart,
yes.
I'm going to let you introduce Tauranga girls.
Yeah, for sure. So we've got number 4, Palace Hokianga, 5, Pia Ririnui, 6, Riley McClenahan, 7, Areta Kahura, 9, Hanikuni, 10, Anika Highland, 11, Jayla Teki, 12, Nevada Moringa, who's not stripping up today as she's injured, 14, Maya Kahura, 15, Kiritiana Patia, 16, Eden Tapsil, 17, Ruby Jones, coached by Gina Cooney and assisted by James Patia and Richie McClenahan, and also manager Whaia Dai Kahura.
Well, you know a team means business in this tournament when they've got 2 assistant coaches. 2 good wins so far for Tauranga girls. Finished 3rd in 2022. Mal, have you had much of a conversation with them, and how do you think the mood is to potentially go 1 or 2 spots better in 2023?
Oh, you know, they've come here with the mindset and attitude that they want to be in the championship final for this tournament. So they've been preparing for that, and I'm just waving out to the coaches down there. But no, they're here with the business end in mind for sure.
And never easy tournament to do that in, but so many great players on their side. I want to talk about Palace Hokianga for a second, having a spectacular 2023 involved with the Phi. What's she been like to coach this year?
No, she's actually a real pleasure to coach. She's got high work rate and work ethic, and she's been in our national program for a couple of years now. Moved to Tauranga from Hastings Girls High School earlier this year to, you know, improve herself, develop her skill set, and get some really great game experience around experienced players and our international players. She's a big piece of the puzzle, along with Honey Cooney and Anika Highland, who are also development players for Phi. But you know, she's had a great year. She's received a lot of accolades, but accolades aside, her character off the court is just absolutely spectacular.
As we have a look there at the referees, just about ready to get this underway as well. Our fresh set of volunteers for this game. I still can't believe now they're able to find 36 volunteers for every round from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. A spectacular job from Basketball Manurewa too.
I'll just have a shout out too, because we've got a Tauranga person on the school bench volunteering at the moment. So a massive shout out to Tash Ormsby, who's just come through as a parent and put her hand up to help out, because, you know, obviously it's very hard. So shout out to Tash. But yeah, the volunteer base, school benching, everything, like, it's amazing. This is one of the best tournaments to be at in the country during the seasonal calendar. So yeah, some excellent basketball going on, and I'm excited to watch this game. Obviously, I coached Jelly, Jelena Vucinic, who's the coach for Epsom. She was in Phi last year. So it's great to see her put her hand up to give back to the game by coaching, and she's a phenomenal person, and you know, just recently had surgery. So it's great to see her here at this tournament.
So what you're saying is that you're going to let us know if Jelly's taken any of your out-of-bounds plays that we might see Epsom run today?
Oh, no, I think she's got her own bank of plays. She's an experienced player, and having it, you know, her dad teach her all throughout these years, I'm sure she's got some tricks up her sleeve as well.
So we've got Epsom in the pinstripe dark blue. We've got Tauranga girls in the baby blue. And we're underway, and first ball is going to come off of Epsom girls, and it's going to be Tauranga girls ball from the baseline. So we're going to see a flat set first for them. How are they going to set this up? Little cross screen into the corner. Big Kuruwhiwhi Toru attempt first up. Not touched by drawn Forbes, and it'll be Epsom girls ball to start, and a little bit of full court pressure, Mel, to begin for Tauranga.
Yes, they play full court man the whole game, which is how they cause some disruption, and then they like to get transition opportunities. Maya Fowler coached her earlier this year in Melbourne on a tour. So, and her and Honey Cooney in the opposition were teammates. So it's nice to see them battle up against each other.
Well, it's cool with all these tours and these tournaments. Of course, we've got all the age group, the secondary schools, Hoop Nation as well. It's such a great social event in a way for the players as well, to see these players that they are teammates with and against in different parts of the year.
Oh, you make friendships and you know, memories, build those for life, and you'll never forget those associations that you have with other players, with other coaches when you go on tours, no matter how short that tour is.
Drawn Forbes off the on-ball's a bit strong, and out to the races comes Honey Cooney. Happy to slow things down, and eventually into the hands of Kahura. I read there from Forbes, almost a perfect back cut from Honey Cooney. Couldn't quite connect on the pass, and a foul will be called Epsom ball.
Tapsell had the right idea where she saw Honey going for that cut, but Drawn Forbes was too classy and came across to pick that off.
And looks like there might be a stoppage potentially for a bracelet that is being worn. And it might not be one that can be taken off.
Going to cut that off and insert Riley McClenahan. She's a young talent coming through the ranks. Recently part of the junior program for Tauranga Girls College that won the qualifying tournament in Rotorua for Zone 2.
Fowler off the on-ball, finds the handoff. Here's Forbes on the left wing.
Oh.
An offensive foul is called, not set there on the screen. And I've seen that call made quite a bit already this week, Mel.
Yeah, just timing. Either you're not waiting to come off the screen, you haven't waited for it to be set, or lateness to arrive to set the screen. So that's been called up a little bit.
Tip ball there, good pressure from Epsom girls, getting hands up in the passing lane, but what a pass in behind the 2-3 zone, and the Kuruwhiwhi Toru attempt is good from Maya Kahura. Tie ball game, 3 apiece. Forbes on the right wing gets the post entry to Vea. Step back 2 is short, and that is going to be off the hands of Ksenia Reti. Tauranga ball.
One thing that Epsom will have to be mindful of is Tauranga Girls College are very much a perimeter shooting team. So, you know, everyone out there at the moment, bar probably Eden, who's a great inside presence, can launch it just like that.
Kuruwhiwhi Toru attempt is strong, but an offensive tūrapa for Tauranga Girls. And Epsom are going to need to win this one. They've lost their first 2 games of the tournament. Need to win this one to stay alive. Not an easy task when you're taking on Tauranga Girls, the top seed in Zone 2 for the qualifiers.
Going to their 4-flat blob again.
Are you a fan of the 4-flat? Mel, do you run many plays out of it?
Just depends what your personnel is. I mean, I think if you've, like they've got at the moment, 2 bigs and 2 guards, it can work if you get the screen timing right. But I like to maybe have it a bit higher around the elbow so you've got all the space under the hoop to move into. Hokianga with a 3.
They got lucky there. Epsom Girls hadn't picked up the player in the corner fight for the ball, and travel called. Called there for trying to stand up.
Yeah, good hustle though from Eden Tapsell to get the call going back to Tauranga Girls College way.
So again, we see that 4 flat. Out into the corner, just happy to work it around. Here is Hokianga. Into the high post, double team there from Epsom girls. And you've got to be careful if you're doubling off of a Palace Hokianga. Once she gets locked in, Mel, it's going to be fireworks.
Yeah, she top scored against Hastings Girls yesterday with 23, so really found her straps in that game, and a lot of that was interior finishing. So she can be dangerous because she draws a lot of attention and will just hit open players like she did, Anika Highland sinking that one.
What a pass that was from Hokianga off the baseline drive. And here come Epsom girls. Had quite a few possessions there, did Tauranga girls, back to back off the offensive rebound. So first opportunity in the last minute for Epsom. Great spin move, short on the finish, and a foul is called by the referee. That'll be foul number 3 for Epsom girls.
Epsom girls looking to go through the hands of drawn Maya Fowler and Talia Vea.
And you wonder as well, sitting in the zone, Epsom girls, maybe a chance, Mel, in future positions, try and bring that pressure a little bit more up the court rather than sitting back.
Yeah, just extend the pressure a little bit. I think too that in terms of offence, in order to be successful, some nice paint touches with, you know, they've obviously got Eden and Kiritiana on. Or even to set a drag screen for the guards to come off.
We're going to see a sub here for Epsom girls, Kiara Tiamo in. Andrea Apipaya just went down on her shoulder in back play. So she'll take a sub, hopefully nothing too serious, and we will see her back on the court shortly.
So they're running a stagger across the baseline here to get it open 3 look for Maya Fowler, but Honey Cooney is there to meet her. A switch there.
Good defense there from Tauranga girls, happy to kick ahead.
Oh, Anika Highland, good footwork.
What a jab step, just threw the defender off. And acres of space.
She gets so many shots at Anika during the week. Like, she trains very hard.
Forbes off the on ball. Tauranga happy to go under that one. As Fowler, Kuruwhiwhi Toru is good.
And that's hit the bank.
Off the Papa Moody. Not a Sunday, so all the banks are still open.
Oh, don't leave Honey open. There you go.
And it's something Epsom girls are going to have to figure out how to extend that pressure in that 2-3.
Good pressure by Honey Cooney, and we get the ball back. I'm interested to see if they go back to the 4 flat. And young Ruby's just subbed in for Eden Tapsell.
Into the hands of Hokianga off the on ball. Cooney thought about it.
Nice.
And open lane was there for Patia, and it's going to stay Tauranga girls. Mel, every time, even if they miss the shot, I still feel they're competing so hard for the offensive rebounds that
yes, they are.
The out of bounds are coming back to them.
You always want to crash boards, get second chance opportunities, and they're running with 2 bigs at the moment, so why not? Hokianga, Takuni.
Great, they're making great use of that high post as Hokianga.
Beautiful weak side cut and an amazing pass there from Kiritiana Patia.
It's a beautiful sight to see when teams perfectly execute high post action as we see a spin and draws the foul, Talia Vea.
And Kiritiana's calling for a sub now. She's actually on restricted minutes due to an ankle injury sustained approximately a month ago. So we see Maya Kahuta is going to check in for her.
Vea with the first. Kurutautuku goes in and out.
So Talia Vea at the line, she's a talent to watch in the future. Younger sister of Luca.
Ah!
Yes.
It's always cool when we see siblings start to come through. Luca, a fantastic player in his own right.
Yes, he is.
Here come Tauranga girls again. Epsom still in that 2-3. And you'd
nice ball movement.
Great ball movement for the Tauranga girls. I just wonder, can they get one more half step closer before really drag that defence in? But other than that, a very nice to watch offensive possessions. Here comes Hockey
Picked her pocket. And great finish from Cooney.
Really used her body well to shield herself. And we're going to see a timeout taken by Epsom girls. Jelena Vucinic seen enough in the first 6 minutes of play.
Yeah, she has seen enough. Good on Yelly for calling that timeout right now.
And often as well, you see timeouts taken perfectly on the minute.
On the minute, and I think, you know, there's it's usually 8.6 point run that you try and get some stoppage in that and get your girls back together. You know, what's our game plan? Because I'm pretty sure that Jelly would have already done her scouts. And what they do need to do right now is 1, box out, get D-boards, 2, get the ball over half safely and get into some sort of rhythm offensively, utilising Dawn, Talia and Maya.
I think Talia is going to be the key one, just with that little bit of extra height. Can they try and get some catches on the high post?
Well, she's drawn it. She's drawn a couple of fouls, so keep going to that, or even on the post catch, looking to kick out again if they start doubling down on her.
What about for Tauranga girls? Is there, I mean, we've liked what we've seen early from them, but is there anything you feel that they could really just tighten up on moving forward?
So a couple of things. They're moving the ball really well. I'd like to see maybe a few more on-ball screens to create some advantages, especially with the zone that they're playing, to set the drag screen on one of the top players, attack the opposite elbow or the nail, draw that player 2 and then create an open 3. You know, because they've got so many good 3-point shooters in their side, so all 4 of the guards can shoot the 3 ball and then get Ruby to set the drag screen possibly. And then just create and play with what's immediately in front of them.
So it's going to be Epsom girls ball and Tauranga matching up Wahine to Wahine. Is there going to be extended pressure? No, it is just straight Wahine to Wahine defence. Now they bring the second defender, but well done from Epsom to get the ball over half court. Good ball movement, and Forbes Kurufifi Toru is good. Perfect execution after the timeout, and it's 15-10 now, Tauranga. Lovely skip pass to the corner. Back-to-back Kurufifi Torus.
So that's 2 now for Aniki. You must get out on her, otherwise she's gonna kill you on that. She's already scored 8 points. She's had a midi and 2 threes.
Now out of the short corner decision-making spot.
Nice. Hard luck, Talia. That was a good look at the reversal. Oh, good job. You know, putting pressure on the D-trans there and then getting up again. So now there's no one on this player with the ball. They're opting to play a bit of drops on her.
Well, it seems to be across the board, isn't it, as Forbes couldn't
Great
convert
defense.
on the layup. Offensive Turapa, and away comes Hokianga. And the way they execute these fast breaks, Mel, it almost looks like a training drill. It's so well executed. But well done Epsom there, managing to slow it up.
Oh, and it gets stuck there, so we're going to go to a directional play, which will be in favour of Epsom girls.
Had one in the last game as well. Becoming a trending thing today.
The old ball wedgie.
Miles was talking about yesterday, because I was asking him the question of what rule he had changed, but he wanted, for things like this, you'd use the possession arrow, but then anytime there's a tie-up, to go for the defensive team.
Like 3x3.
Like 3x3.
Well, that's good. You're rewarding defence, right? I think that would create more opportunity for ball grabs, to be fair. Yeah, stuck her chest out there onto Forbes and probably needs to do better at getting in front because Drawn is very quick.
The speed of the athletes I find now, Mal, that are coming through is so much higher. A lot more paying more attention to their strength and conditioning, using the resources that are available for them, particularly in the Auckland area. I think of Logan Boddicker off the top of my head, who's done an amazing job with athletes. Even some are coming up from Tauranga. I think of Money Mike Wade, come up and trained with Logan a couple of times.
Yes, and now we have an S&C trainer for fire, so that's across the board for our academy players who would like to utilise that. Crawford Rob, so big shout out to Crawf, and to Logan, who's also involved with a number of NBL, including Kahu and the Franklin Bulls.
He did. Got his first piece of silverware this year, as I'm sure he finds it probably a slightly easier job than having to defend Stephen Adams when he was coming up through age groups playing.
Footwork called there for Palace Hokianga, but too eager to get to the rim.
You look at the growth of a player like Palace Hokianga and Mal, I mean, you talk about not just the Tauihi League and Rapid League that helps the development, but what are some of the things you think that players who have made those steps like Palace has this year, what kind of attributes do they have that have allowed them to find that growth in their basketball?
I think the character piece is for sure one of the biggest, you know, growing good people on and off the floor, to transfer into their basketball game, respect for themselves, for other players, for their teammates, and also for their coaches. But there's just a real desire and willingness to get better, and a lot of these players that are playing up in Rapid and Tauihi League already know what their plans are for their future, what they've already set their goals, they've got their aspirations, already figuring out what they want to study at university, whether it's here in New Zealand or at college in the States. So, you know, like I said earlier, with the 12 girls that are playing here that are part of the league this year, I'm only seeing, like, personally, like, I've had people reach out, you know, what do you think about our daughter coming through? And I'm sure that's across every other franchise, that they want to see their daughters succeed, and perhaps they're in rural areas that they do not get those opportunities.
I think it speaks as well to resources like Stevie Cousins, who is helping so much with the academic piece of people learning and understanding you have to do these certain subjects if you do want to go and study in the States, rather than getting to year 12 and 13, and sometimes it's too late because you don't have the prerequisites to take the required subjects.
Yeah, core subjects is a big thing. And also, I see Stevie here at tournament. I see some scouts here at tournament as well, looking at kids. So, hey, that's a huge thing, right? Is that you're playing in front of people. Like, this footage is going, you know, across a massive platform. So even if they're not here, they're watching overseas. They're watching your behaviour and attitude from the bench. Like, everything counts.
Well, just on this court yesterday, we had 4,600 people tune in across the day, so there are eyeballs on the tournament.
Yeah, well, it's one of the pinnacle event for secondary schools here, right? And so, you know, year 11 and upwards, they're looking at you now, even younger.
Kick ahead there for Maya Fowler. Last possession of the quarter for Epsom girls. An offensive foul called.
So that's the second offensive of the game. Again, arriving late to set the screen and moving at the same time.
So last possession of the quarter for Tauranga girls. Plenty of time, just under 8 seconds to play. Hokianga finds Cooney. And look for this one to go up. Step back. Is it got off? No, it was not in time. So quarter number 1 in the books. Tauranga girls 26, Epsom girls 12. Mel Bennett, not just the players, but what structurally stood out to you in that first quarter?
I think our style of play from Tauranga girls is a lot faster. They like to play with pace. So you'll see they're putting pressure on Trans D for Epsom. A little bit more ball movement from TGC. And, you know, a lot of players have come through. I think they had 4 or 5 subs come through just to refresh, to keep that pace going. perimeter three-point shooting. And then with Epsom girls, they need to find a better way of getting the ball up the floor rather than the dribble, because that just trims time off the shot clock, and just show a little bit more energy to getting after loose ball and boxing out defensively. So I think if they can improve on those things, otherwise we're looking at a 100-point game from Tauranga Girls College, which is not what you want as an opposition player. They're looking to double your score. So you really have to figure out what you need to do to change that.
I was just thinking about that. I don't think that we've actually seen... Has Tauranga got to 100? No. I don't think I've seen anyone yet this week get to 100. Usually you see it on day one at a few schools, but I can't think of any games this week that have got to that yet.
No, I haven't seen personally, but let's see what today brings.
Yeah, I'm sure someone's delved deep into the draw and is like, well, this game did. So just over 30 seconds until we get into quarter number 2. Big thank you, of course, again to our sponsors, Moulton, Bailey's, New Zealand Carbon Farming, Caltex, Apollo Projects, and New Zealand Community Trust. Don't forget as well, there's a few awards that you can nominate people for. Well, first of all, we've got the Caltex Good Sport Award for someone you think who's gone well above and beyond for this tournament. Head to the BBNZ socials to find it, and it will be presented at the AA prize giving on Saturday afternoon. We've also got the New Zealand Carbon Farming How Green Is Your Team Award. Head to the BBNZ socials, comment your top 3 sustainability tips for schools and sport, and be in to win a $50 Players Sports voucher for your school. And of course the Bailey's All Together Better Award, a chance to win a $500 travel voucher. Head to the BBNZ Instagram page, find the Win with Bailey's post, and comment telling us why your team is #AllTogetherBetter. Entries close 11:59 p.m. on Wednesday, and it's all free to enter, so kids, you don't have to ask your parents for permission to do so. It's not going to charge them anything. But get out there, nominate people, put in your tips, and it's exciting to see, Mel, who's going to come out the winners of those.
I can't wait, because it's where you start, especially with one of them, you recognise a top volunteer.
Well, it's the people who help put everything together, get these players to the trainings, wash the uniforms at night.
Cook the kai.
That's the good stuff.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know if I'm going to be doing too much cooking this week.
And even just an ear for our rangatahi to talk to and just listen, because tournaments can be tough. So sometimes you just need to be there for somebody to, as a gentle ear, give some nice positive feedback and keep uplifting and empowering our rangatahi to go back and be the best they can.
Because it's not always the on-court advice, is it? Sometimes it's just that little bit of life wisdom that can be passed on. That makes all the difference.
So they're staying in this 2-3 zone. So handoff, post, entry.
Oh, what a ball fake. Got everyone except the ball in the hoop.
Oh, hands in. And a foul called on Hokianga. Originally great disruption from Cooney, and then we had 3 rush at the ball in that instance. So she'll be sitting on 2 fouls at the moment. Oh, just the pressure.
Honey Cooney takes it away. Lovely little one-hand flick. And Anika Highland is going to go to the line for Tauranga girls. Tell you what, that front court disruption that Hanekuni and Palace Hokianga are providing together, that's great to watch.
It's tough to see those little Energizer batteries running at you. And they're relentless, they won't stop, they'll go. Like, Honey, Anika and Pele will just go all day.
I feel like the only ones that can stop them is their coaches if they sub them out.
Yeah. But then you get players like Jayla and Riley that'll come out and do the same thing, and Areta.
Here is Forbes for Epsom girls. Oh. Picks up the dribble that finds Maya Fowler up the top. Isolated up against Honey Cooney. Waiting for an on-ball screen, but gets through. And draws the foul and will go to the line to shoot 2.
So Honey getting a message from G. Yeah, just, you know, probably Honey just needs to move across a bit quicker laterally and to stop Maya getting to the rim.
Converts the first points of the second quarter for Epsom girls. And it converts both Kuru Tautuku's 27-14 Tauranga girls, but they're doing such a good job of getting the ball up so quickly that it's almost catching Epsom girls in a bit of a state of shock.
It is, and now you've got, you know, 2 offensive boards. They really have to do a better job of securing the defensive rebound in order to be successful and recap on that lead, because it's out to 13, and just basic things like that.
Extended pressure again from Tauranga girls, but well worked from Epsom into a little handoff. Forbes into the lane. And the floater, strong rebound. Maya Fowler sets the on-ball screen, and Forbes, the Kuruwhiwhi Toru, is long. Rebound Honey Cooney, and away come Tauranga girls. Oh, what a pass.
Beautiful, beautiful dump off into Eden Tapsell with a great finish, and that's just beautiful to watch.
The way they're executing it is almost looking like they're running at 5-on-0. Defenders don't even have time to disrupt it.
Yeah, it's effortless too. It's just...
The tender swing pass there from Forbes is out of bounds. And Tauranga girls will bring it up. A chance for Epsom girls, though, to catch a breath, set up their defence.
I am waiting for Talia Vere to come back in. I think she makes a difference. Just her presence inside, and they've got an option to pass into on her post action. So
great use of the high post again. Just those weak side cuts, Mel, are so hard to defend when they come at the right angle.
Yeah, I think if she's going to weak side cut, then maybe we need a corner lift, and Hokian can replace that corner. Tends a little bit of ball watching on the perimeter there, but a great job for Eden to get to the line here.
As we will see a sub, and Ksenia Reti will be back in for Epsom girls. Misses that one right. As you see in the background, table tennis being taken to. There's cornhole as well. If you're in the Palmerston North region, get on down. Both daily and weekly pass options are available. And I will check at some point today, but I wouldn't be shocked. There's probably, what, 198 games that go on during this week, probably more.
Yeah. Again, crazy. But everything is just running smoothly here. Just a big shout out to one of my friends who's watching at the moment, who just messaged, Cliff Horn. Good to have you watching the game. Sending you all my love, Cliffy. Otherwise, he would usually be here as well.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a Basketball New Zealand tournament without Uncle Cliff.
Yes.
Roaming around. But great, again, that we can provide this live stream for him to take it all in.
Oh, overpass.
Well defended, though.
Good pressure.
Very well defended.
Good pressure.
And so Tauranga girls here rolling the subs as well.
And I think we're going small here, which you'll see a bit more pace. So
this timeout is taken.
The 3 amigos will stay in, and we'll see two juniors join them. We'll see what the pace is like here.
Now Bennett bringing in the nicknames. I like it. Don't forget as well, if you want to keep up to date with this tournament and everything that's happening, head to nz.basketball. Click on the schools tab and then secondary school nationals, and there is a bunch of information for you to take on board, as well as on social media through Facebook, Instagram. And they haven't updated it because they still call it Twitter. now known as X, but at Basketball NZ. Tag us in your post and use the hashtag SSNats. And of course, we've got 8 games live a day until Thursday on Whakata Māori before everything comes back to the show court.
Massive shout out to Whakata Māori for just bringing this live stream to everybody that cannot be here.
And a reminder, the show court does not represent what Nationals is all about.
Ooh.
Behind us, there is another 8 courts going. It gets a little bit manic at times. People trying to rush from court to court, get the best angle to view the game that's happening on. And we see so many cameras now as well recording the games, don't we, Mel, for people to take home and cut film of.
Yeah, is there a rule around that videoing this year? I had that asked to me earlier.
Probably. I haven't heard. I think
at the technical meeting.
There'd probably be no broadcasting. I think if you're using it for cutting film, I think you're okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how are you supposed to scout opposition if you cannot video? But that makes sense.
There's a big kuruwhiwhi toru.
Areta Kahura, younger sibling to Maya.
Is there any bragging rights that ever goes on between the two sisters, Mel?
Oh, I'm not sure what goes on in their household.
There's Forbes.
But you've got the whole whānau play basketball. And Sister Taya was head girl at Tauranga Girls College, so she'll be watching on with delight, watching her sisters play and her mum manage.
Gosh, high expectations then for the younger sibling.
Yes. Taya's another 3-point shooter as well.
As Veo comes back into the game, you called for the substitution, Mel Bennett, just to solidify the Epsom offence.
I mean, we just saw in the game before, there was pretty much a differential like this, and then the team came back and then took over and won by 10. Can Epsom do that today? What's your thoughts on that?
They can, but if they're going to need to change the defensive scheme they're running, because Tauranga don't feel troubled at all by the 2-3 that they are looking to execute.
Great defensive disruption by Riley McClenaghan then and forces the turnover, which gives TGC another opportunity to score.
Right, here we go. Here's Hokianga.
We're going for a handoff, and she's sending Areta away, all in a no-look pass across to Riley, but footwork. That's Anika Highland being really crafty.
Bit of a coach killer, that one, isn't it, Mel?
Especially if the player doesn't know the ball's coming, because it's a look away, but yeah.
Here's Forbes crossing over, getting the ball over half court for Epsom girls.
Good pressure from Nix, and she's got to actually keep her hands out and switch up there. And another switch here. And we double down, and Hokianga comes out with it, and can she finish in transition? And she does.
I mean, I think it almost called a lazy pick-and-roll defense, can't it, at times, switching. But if you've got athletes like TGC, you've got to be able to switch like they do. It's such a weapon.
I think it's all coming down to switching technique as well. Whether you switch aggressively, switch under or switch over, you know, there's different types of switches, but can Epsom see if there's any mismatch to attack, or can they slip that, or can they snake through it? It's just, are they reading what's in front of them? But yeah, TGC are that versatile, because they're all small at the moment, so they can switch all. And beautiful shot from Cooney.
At 38-14 now, Tauranga girls over Epsom. You talked before about snaking it, Mal. For the uninitiated at home, can you break that down a little bit?
So when you switch, there's a small gap in between the defence before they can jump out to switch. So you can actually snake through, which is a snake dribble, and get through the gap and get to the rim, draw the next defender, and then dump it off if there's a weak side cut.
I can imagine there's a bunch of
beautiful pass.
10 and 12-year-olds that in the next intermediate game, when they run a pick and roll, are going to try and snake it. Coach is going to ask them what they're doing. Oh, I heard Mel Bennett talking about it.
Oh, no, not if you're 10 or 12, unless you're exceptionally skillful and you, beautiful footwork from Drawn, unable to finish, and TGC are running out again. Areta, beautiful footwork.
Making it look very easy at the moment, our Tauranga girls.
Yeah, this small lineup has helped them tremendously. They've just got faster. But we're going to see some substitutions come in, and they're going back to a big and full small. So young junior Ruby checks in. So Ruby Jones is a phenomenal athlete.
Is that just through basketball, or is there other athletic feats that she undertakes, Mel?
Yeah, she does track and field, and she plays netball, and she also plays basketball. So athletics is probably her passion, but she's just super long.
Not many quiet nights in her household then, trying to keep up with all three. There's Vea, spins up and in, gets her own tūrapa, and it's going to stay Epsom ball. 3 minutes 32 to play in quarter number 2. Now, we were talking before yesterday around preparations for next year's World Cup. And at the moment, I'm sure the assistant coaches are breaking down a ton of film and styles of play for all different countries. How many hours of film do they have to go through from each country before you've kind of built up a big enough library where you're comfortable with what you've got?
As many as it takes, to be honest. You know, especially some of the European teams, they have just complicated and a lot of actions, concepts and offences that you need to kind of capture, and then some other teams they have limited, and you already know because of what country that they are, their style of play. So it's just figuring out too as player scouts, and luckily, you know, we have Fast Scout that can capture a player scout and kind of auto-populate it for us. And thanks to Basketball New Zealand for allowing us to have that now. It just makes our job easier, but in terms of video, it takes the special eye. And luckily we've got one of our ACs who's based overseas at the moment is doing our film for us, and you know, he's pretty competent. And then we've got Sarah doing some clipping as well from Wellington. So yeah, it's good to have a team of people that can all do technical stuff, that you can rely on them. And you know, over time we've also had technical assistance on the ground while we've been on tour, which has been super helpful. So shout out to Tilly and Tanya as well.
Absolutely, one of the almost thankless tasks sometimes in basketball, creating a scout, putting together the video. As away come Tauranga girls again, turning this into a bit of a track meet. And Hokianga up top, dancing through the double team, draws the foul, and will go to the line to shoot 2. I always love players of Hokianga's ability who, in a game like this, don't have to cruise, but kind of, you know, don't really get into 5th gear very often, but when they find those little opportunities just to really go for it, it's awesome to see, as we just saw in that last passage of play.
Yeah, it looks like she's in such control of her body, like she's got great balance and good core strength, and super close to the ground. And while it looks like she's cruising, she's actually going pretty quick when you look at the players running beside her. Yeah, so
McLean into the hoop, contact, but no foul called. Away comes Drawn Forbes to Maya Fowler, and converts with the left hand. Much needed score there for Epsom girls. Trying to keep it as close as they can going into the half-time break. And a fresh set of messages from Coach Jelly as Hokianga for the Kuruwhiwhi Toru is long. Rebound Vea. And again, away come Epsom girls. Fowler, Kuruwhiwhi Toru, in and out. And they've had a bit of success, Mal, in the last couple of possessions, getting out in front in the fast break. For Tauranga girls, when you're looking for points of emphasis with a lead like this, would that be something that they would be pinpointing that they need to work on?
Yeah, I think too, with the rotation out of 4 of their starters, it's kind of left the D-trans back at the moment to Hokianga to get back. So probably one thing that Coach G will enforce at the half is the importance of D-transition and getting back, but making the pass down equally as hard by getting a stop straight away and matching up, even if it's not your defensive assignment for the game.
They got the Tūrapa and Drew the Hara as she will not take a seat, but draw on Forbes will. 51 seconds to play, quarter number 2. Fresh ball handlers here for Epsom girls. Still pressure applied from Tauranga. Nice little handoff there in the half court to Fowler. Step back, Kuruwhiwhi Toru is good.
And they need that. They needed that shot very desperately.
One for the Instagram highlight reel. As looks like a bit more of a, well, it's a higher, almost a hybrid 2-3-3-2 look for Epsom girls. Great ball movement.
And Jayla Teki launched a 3 there. A great shot to take. You know, that's the kind of shot you want to generate.
And one. Conversion for Epsom, and they are finding some positives to take them into the halftime break. Chance here to cut into this lead. Some good back-to-back possessions here, Mel. Something to build on for them in quarter number 3.
Yes, definitely. I think with the 3 guards out, Honey, Anika and Palace, this is the time to kind of unleash, get some points on the board. But I think for Coach Gina Cooney, it's more about giving those top 3 players a rest, a well-deserved rest before they go into another 20 minutes of basketball, which is still quite a long time.
So that'll do it for quarter number 2. Tauranga girls 44, Epsom girls 22. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with the second half.
I just want to thank New Zealand Carbon Farming for taking the initiative and supporting schools like ours.
It's really important they have that outlet to come to kura for another reason other than curriculum, and for some reason in our water our kids just breathe sport, and having that resource here makes life that much more enjoyable and they can keep doing what they're good at.
Having this funding, being able to use it specifically targeting sport is hugely beneficial.
This isn't an ad about four-wheel drives. It's about knowing the place, as well as the locals.
We found the place. That's a good start. Built by my great-grandfather 20 years ago.
We had to make sure from the beginning, yep, this is what we're going to do and we're going to go all in.
And there was us.
So I was so determined to have this pepe.
Puro pepe, ki whakaata Māori me Māori Plus.
Funding is a real challenge. We know that a lot of schools face that ongoing, and the reality is if you go to a lower decile school in New Zealand, you are less likely to be able to afford to participate in sport.
Obviously, having come through it myself with kids and being one of those kids myself who played sport, I know how much it defined who I was. And now being able to go, I can't fix it all, but we can help and try and give to those people who are going through a really tough time. It's a real privilege, but you know, for us, we want to see others getting involved with this. This is not a selfish thing for Apollo. This is about how can we get, whether it's construction or other businesses, to get involved in this.
There's a lot of things that kids miss out on, and so to have businesses step up and want to be involved and to help is a game changer for schools. It really is.
Hey, sport is about more than just the game. It's about going from teammates to best mates. It's the high fives and helping hands. It's learning when to back yourself or back your buddies. It's actually being excited to get out of bed early on a Saturday. Sport is about more than just the game. That's why Caltex is proud to help fuel school sports.
The bait is over.
What I can almost guarantee is there's going to be some good fish here today.
Tuna in every 2 days.
I was pretty excited actually. Went from 0 to 100 real quick.
For a real good time.
All guns blazing.
Oh.
Yeah, my technique, it was mean. Not.
Get in the water, please. Wild 2 day. Ki whakaata Māori.
Another day in paradise.
Welcome back here to Fly Palmy Arena in Palmerston North for girls AA action here at the 2023 Secondary Schools Basketball. Andrew Horrocks alongside Coach Mal Bennett.
Kia ora, kia ora.
And Mal, it almost feels like a little bit of a lull at the moment at half-time. We can't take in the action behind us, but just almost a calming after what turned into a bit of a track meet in the back end of that second half.
It did. You saw some rotations come in, and then it was kind of going both ways. It was just a transition game, which got a little bit messy, but it kind of worked a little bit out for better in favour for Epsom girls. And so interesting to see, because like it's only 22 points, and that's not much to come back. So be interesting to see how Tauranga Girls College comes out. I'm pretty sure that they'll go back to their starting lineup.
Well, two impressive results so far for Tauranga Girls, beating Barradine College 77-36. And then Hastings Girls High School 95-43, in which Palace had 23 points. But yeah, for them it's working through these first couple of days, isn't it? Not trying to give away too much on film as well, to make sure that come the end of the tournament, which they would like to feature in, they still have a few tricks up the sleeve.
Yeah, exactly. And you'll know that they want to finish top of pool to have a better crossover into top 8. And then Epsom girls are fighting for second or third place in this pool so they can go through into a preliminary.
Yeah, they're going to need to win this one after losses to St Margaret's and Barradine. A bit of a do-or-die game here for Epsom girls. But it's great, isn't it, with the introduction that they brought in a few years ago of that third team in pool that still gets that second opportunity.
Yeah, prior to that it was very cutthroat. You know, you kind of know by the end of day 2 if you're in or you're out, and then you've still got three or 4 days left to play. So it's nice to have a second chance to go through.
I think it was 2000, I remember talking to my mates about it, but I think it was 2008 Westlake boys. They lost to the eventual national champions in pool by, I think it was 4 points. Then in the crossovers, they ended up third in their pool, so were knocked out. Only game they lost all tournament, and they ended up 9th. So now that there's that second opportunity, if you do have those stacked pools, that you've got the chance to still make it through.
Yeah, I think it's awesome to get another life.
I think a game that's going to affect that extra games break. Westlake girls tomorrow up against St Peter's of Cambridge. One that I'm looking forward to calling with Crystal Ledger-Walker.
Yeah, no, that will be a good game. You know, St Peter's with Tanika Ledger-Walker and Eva Jeffries, and a powerhouse coaching staff with Anthony Corbin and Leanne Ledger-Walker, and then Westlake, you know, defending their title from last year, having Amy Pateman and Rebecca Moore's Cody also back after an ACL injury, so it's going to be an exciting game to watch.
Awesome having Cody back, as drawn there off the side of the backboard. And away come Tauranga girls. Here's Honey Cooney with the spin. And
had the right idea, but just unable to finish there. It was a bit wayward pass from Hokianga. I think if it was a pinpoint one, she would have had an easy left-hand layup there.
Here's Forbes on the left-hand side, waiting for the on-ball, now receives it.
Oh, and that's an attacking switch now, so a bit more aggressive.
Would you want the screener to roll a bit harder off of that?
Yeah, look, if you roll deep and then get out, but at least try and take one defender with you. If you take two, then shoot the ball. It's kind of, I don't think they're actually reading the switch technique. So let's see what they do in the next one.
Another opportunity here for Epsom girls. Little full court pressure here from Anika Highland on drawn Forbes. Off the on ball, no switch that time. Mal went under.
No, I don't think they'll get Eden to switch out. So she squeezed, stayed with the screen setter, and a nice basket finish there from Hokianga.
Beautiful work there from Tauranga girls, extending this lead out now, 49-22. Maya Fowler bringing the ball up for Epsom girls. Just looking for a ball handler. But great work from Tauranga girls to wall up, and Vea somehow found a pocket of space. But the tūrapa in the hands of Tauranga girls. Great work again into that high post. Hokianga is blocked but gets the ball back. Shot clock doesn't reset, 8 on the clock. Little hook shot is short and a rebound. Api Paia and draws a foul, Epsom ball. A little bit of full court pressure provided here from Tauranga girls. Always such a fan of teams that are able to apply that, especially in a long tournament.
You know, especially a lengthy player like Eden Tapsell, she's making a conscious effort to try and disrupt.
An elevator screen was used there from Epsom, which ends up, after a few possessions, drawing a foul. And some kudu tautukus to be shot from Epsom girls. And Mel, even if they can't progress to the main knockout stages, each team still has a bunch of games left. So for Epsom girls, it's still about finding those offensive schemes that can get them some success to work through the final 5 days.
Exactly. Like if you can't, make the top 8, you definitely want to try and get 9th, which is the next accolade. You finish top of the middle section. So yeah, no, you're right. Try and find something that's going to work for your players on the floor, and I'm sure Coach Yelena will be looking to utilise Talia, Drawn and Maya for that.
Here's Forbes off the on ball. Both players diving. Just struggling to find a bit of space, aren't they, Mel? Just a bit condensed.
Yeah.
As Fowler with the mid-range jump shot. And it worked. But again, Tauranga girls doing such a good job.
Nice trail. Unfortunately, that bounced out, but a great trail kind of entry and good find from Maya Kahuta, just unable to finish that.
Here's Forbes bringing the ball up, finds Fowler. Picking up her dribble before a cut through to the weak side. And Mal, they've almost got to try and find just an entry action, don't they, to try and create some space.
Yeah, unfortunately, they're getting held with the ball in hand so far up that they're not able to get into any kind of scoring action.
Hokianga just drops it off to Cooney for the mid-range. No good on the pakete. Tūrapa, Maya Fowler. Again, just that picking up just over half court. And Vea blocked.
Blocked by Eden Tapsell. That was pretty.
So perfectly timed there.
She's a terrific volleyball player.
That explains a lot.
And very talented at this sport as well. I can hear some water.
Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? Where's it coming from? Is it below us? Must be. But yeah, those volleyball and basketball seasons actually complement each other so well. But it's a good sport for basketball. How did that not drop?
Just popped out. And Eden Tapsell picking up all the rebounds, working so hard in there.
Great kick ahead pass to Forbes is stripped from Highland. And a foul is going to come in. And another chance here for Tauranga girls just to roll through their substitutions.
And they've gone small again.
Keep some fresh legs.
So you'll see now everything's going to be switched.
Tauranga happy just to work the ball around the perimeter. You've got to wonder at some point, though, try and get some feet inside the paint. They do so, and it creates an easy kuruwhiwhi toru for Areta.
So Areta, that's her second three now. And just, you know, a shout out to Riley for drawing defence there and making a great kick-out pass to the receiver spot.
That's why when you hear coaches say try and get 2 feet inside the paint. So effective for creating that space for shooters. Somehow ends up in the hands of Palace Hokianga. And shoots from the corner. Offensive tūrapa though. And Tauranga girls just so unselfish in their play. Areta again. And that shot is going to be a long Epsom girls ball. What's nice, isn't it, Mel, as a coach, when your players are so willing to give up a good shot for a great shot for their teammate?
Yeah, good to great is something that you always want to teach, but playing unselfish basketball is even better.
Here comes Vea for Epsom girls, cross-court pass. Winding up in the corner. And long, but again, another almost offensive tūrapa for Vea. Kick ahead pass. And
Good
then
finish.
Highland and one.
Good finish, beautiful pass from Honey Cooney.
As we have another look at that on the action replay, and the pass almost behind her actually gives the defender time to catch up, which wasn't in her benefit as she draws the foul. Just a bump in the back. Easy call there for the referee.
At the moment, there's some spacing issues with Epsom's offence, so I wonder if they're going to work on that.
Here they go, extended pressure again from Tauranga, happy to pull it back. Double team comes in, and Savannah Fete is going to go to the line to shoot a couple of confidence boosters here. Anytime it's not working for you, just get to the line. See the ball go on the hoop, it can do wonderful things.
Really nice officiating from Team Grey today. They're just letting the game flow as much as possible, which you always love to see as a coach.
Absolutely. Converts the first Kuru Tautuku. And makes both. Nothing but net across the three throws. And Epsom girls still sitting there in this 2-3 zone.
Oh, just unable to kick that out, but Hokianga gets it back. She's looking to attack.
And you wonder, Mel, I mean, game certainly not done, but slipping away a little bit, 55-27. The 2-3 zone has been applied the whole time by Epsom girls. It's a good opportunity. It's almost like a training run, right, to trial out some different defences that you could throw at other teams moving forward.
I think too, when you come to a tournament like this, you have to come with a kind of defensive packages, so to speak. So you have to come with something to disrupt full court, half court, whether it's zone or man-to-man, but you have to come with something different. And I'd like to see Epsom come out right now and try and be a little bit more disruptive in the full court, whether that's a full court press or whether that's just full court man with some trapping triggers.
Hokianga contact, but not illegal. It's going to stay Tauranga ball. Subs in both sides. I don't know for Tauranga as well. They won't want to experiment too much in case a few other teams are watching and can take some ideas. off of them in the closing stages of this tournament. But doing a great job just working the ball around, drive and kick. But the pass too strong for the corner there, and it's going to be Epsom ball. Again, another tip pass. Inbound to Forbes for Epsom. Out of the on ball and going under allows Forbes to pull up.
That's a deep one.
Goes off the Papamuri. And here come Tauranga girls again. Happy to work the ball from side to side.
Nice to see that they've got 4 juniors running on at the moment. With their on-court leader, Hani Cooney.
Such an exceptional piece of experience here. I mean, you talk about you don't want to come to year 12 and 13 and almost be starstruck by the stage. If they're able to get that experience when they're younger, then it's going to serve them well in future years. Nothing's too much of a shock for them when they come back.
Oh, exactly. And it's such good development for them to get, you know, some minutes on the national stage here this week. To get ready for their future tournaments to come, because they've still got, some of them have got 4 years left and some of them have got 3. So, and then you'll see with Tauranga girls, they've currently got 3 year 13s and the rest of the team are still to return next year. So Kahura, Cooney and Highland will be moving on to future aspirations and pathways. Same for Maya Fowler from Epsom girls.
All players that I feel like this won't be the last of basketball we see of them.
No, definitely not.
Some bright futures ahead.
I'm really excited to see where some of these players go next.
I think as well you think of Tauhi League and some of the players who are ending their career path in the college system. Just adding again to that depth of player pool that teams can choose from.
No, for sure. And I mean, if players do not decide to, you know, go overseas to the States, there's massive opportunities to keep, you know, the education piece alive and go to a university where there is a franchise to try and get some more development and some exposure and experience playing against some of the best in the country and of course, international players, and being coached by, you know, some of the coaches around the country. And I'm sure there's a few GMs here this week having a look at players and what they're bringing.
The big revelation for me in Tauhi League in 2023 was the Southern Hoiho. I thought they were outstanding this year. Struggled a little bit in its inaugural season, but a good year. Making the semi-finals.
Yeah. No, they turned heads in game 1. You know,
awesome.
when they came out and did a great job of putting together a roster, stayed with the development concept of Rapid League, and credit to, you know, Hoiho and head coach Todd Marshall, who did a fantastic job there. So they were definitely a team to watch. Unfortunately for them, Ashton Preckdell became injured, and, you know, in Final 4, it's who has the healthiest roster. And Kahu sure were hard to beat. Phenomenal.
Offensive rebound there for Epsom girls, but it comes sloppy and away come Tauranga with the left hand. And Anika Hainu came flying in for that tūrapa. But it's going to go Epsom ball. A minute and change to play here in quarter number 3. A little bit sloppy trying to get the ball over half court, eventually get in behind that front trap. And here comes Tiamo for Epsom girls.
Another moving screen. Nice to see Pia Ririnui on the floor today as well for Tauranga Girls College. You know, I think it's the first time she's been to a nationals, and she's a rugby player. There's number 5. I wonder if her twin brothers are watching her play at the moment. Shout out to Zach and Nidai.
Well, there's been some good success of rugby players playing in this tournament. For Westlake Girls last year, Holly Williams, now a member of Harbour's Fly Palmy Cup team.
Yes.
Was a great addition in that side.
Holly's a little tank. I coached her at an under-14 camp many years ago when she was coming through. She's an Energizer battery.
Epsom ball, and again, Tauranga still sticking with this full court pressure. Interesting as well, Mel, they're sitting on the front hip rather than the back hip, so there's a chance there for Epsom girls, if they see it, just to pass.
Yeah, exactly, to pass it over. I don't think they've figured that out yet. We've been doing it the whole game, so, you know, just having a player there, though, sometimes it adds on, oh, should I pass it? That hesitation, should I not? Are they going to catch it? Am I going to turn it over?
It's some of those mind games that we talk about within the chess battle that is basketball.
Yeah, it's a game behind the game. Oh, gets a rebound, does Riley.
But away come Epsom girls. Apipaya gets trapped there, throws it across and is fouled, and that's going to be the bonus. Mel, I know you're very tied up at the moment with World Cup preparations, but any desire to coach AA secondary schools potentially in the future?
I've been here doing that. Our first tournament we were top 8 with Tauranga girls, so at the moment it would. I just couldn't with the schedule next year because we're away for most of July, and you know we're getting ready for Mexico, and then back to Tauahi season straight after that. So I wouldn't do the team justice, and it would be terribly unfair to put any team under that duress of their coach not being fully available. So although I would love to, when maybe I retire, is to give back to even single A. Like, I just love the vibe here.
I think single A is such a special tournament. I mean, I went to a AA school, so I never really got to witness it. But being here the last few years, there's just something so special about those single A schools. We talked about it yesterday. The community is drawn. Forbes figures out to seal and go over the top, draws the foul, and will go to the line. Nice adjustment there from the Epsom girls guard.
That was one of those passes you were just talking about, and they found a way to get it there.
Someone on the bench has got the live stream going.
I see some activations getting set up over here to the right. I see Zoe Richards down there.
Awesome to see Zoe walking around, taking in some games.
She's had a phenomenal season for Hoiho.
I remember her breakout year in 2019 for the Gold Rush.
No, she's just a great human.
Although I don't miss being on benches in the Edgar Centre. That place is freezing.
It's freezing. You need a blanket.
Three-quarter time here in Girls AA action. Tauranga girls 57, Epsom girls 29. Mal, we saw a few adjustments there for Epsom at the end, particularly that pass over the top on the inbound, but defensively still being in that 2-3. Could they try some junk zone? If they're going to stick with zone, maybe try a junk zone like a 1-3-1 or maybe switch to a 3-2, so it's a slightly different look.
Oh, you could try a lot of things. You could do a hybrid, like some play man, some play like a triangle or a box or a diamond. There's a lot of things you can do, but it's whether they've practiced it and she's comfortable to change that, because then you get out of rotation. If you haven't practiced it before and you've got juniors in your group, it's kind of hard to just throw something out there, that's not the normal. So it depends. I haven't been in their training environment, and I'm sure Jelly knows what her players can and can't do, and she's choosing to stay in that safe defence. I would like to see them go to maybe a full court trap.
What about Tauranga girls? A bit of a cushion to play with. They've done a good job, just what you almost describe as just playing basketball, basically. Not a lot of structured sets. Would you look at trying anything, or is it just kind of taking care of business, making sure you've got healthy bodies moving forward?
Yeah, healthy bodies, resting your top 4 to 5 players and giving your juniors an opportunity, your benchies, to come out and experience some minutes, but also not allowing Epsom to get back in the game. So just making sure maybe for the first 5 minutes of this last quarter that you've put the game away first before you start, you know, letting your bench players take over the rest of the game. But definitely looking after, I'd say, Anika, Palace, Honey and Eden potentially. And I know that Kiri Tiana's not playing for the rest of the game, so I see she's not suited up anymore, carrying an injury. So looking after her, and then Nevada's not playing either.
Well, if they can bring those players back healthy, Tauranga girls are going to take some stopping here in 2023. One of the potential favourites to take out this tournament.
Yeah, I think there's more pressure on Stack at the moment because they're the talk of the tournament. So they've got a nice little roster as well, and been dominating down in the south. Travelled up to Auckland and played some games as well. So it'll be interesting to see who's in the semis at the end of the week. Oh, Honey Cooney.
Long there, away come Epsom girls. Drawn Forbes, bringing it up for them. One-handed sling pass. Looking for the give and go, but well defended from Tauranga to slow it down. Forbes, Kuruwhiwhi Toru is good.
Oh, nice shot, drawn.
Much more positive start there for Epsom girls. Moved the ball really well on that position. Disrupting it here, and it's going to be Tauranga ball still with 13 seconds on the shot clock.
Oh no, he's called it Epsom's way. So that baseline drive to a corner kick, and unfortunately unable to gather the ball up to catch it, has meant a turnover. If Epsom can get another 3 here and then just keep chipping away, it's still possible for them to cause some havoc and headaches for Coach Gina Cooney.
Forbes up against Hokianga. 1-4 set here for Epsom girls. Fowler comes over the on ball, finds Forbes curling around. Back to back, Kuruwhiwhi Torus.
And John Forbes is lighting it up, and just that 6 unanswered points, and you wonder if they score another one whether Coach Gina Cooney is going to call a timeout, or is she going to make some substitution changes.
I don't think Gina's called a timeout this game, has she?
No, she hasn't needed to be fair.
Jump ball called. It's going to stay Tauranga girls ball. Shot clock reset to 14. Hokianga. Miscommunication there for Tauranga girls. Away again come Epsom to the hoop and the foul. Savannah Fete with a chance.
And here we go, timeout called.
Yeah.
From Tauranga girls, just to settle them down a little bit, and be interesting to see if we've got any changes on the lineup for Tauranga as well. So that's what you want from Epsom girls, is for them to come out firing in the last quarter. They've got nothing to lose, but to try and get back into this game and put TGC under some pressure.
Well, it's not just, we've talked a little bit, but not just building the momentum for this game, but finding that confidence that you're going to take into the start of your next game. Start brightly in that one, and then roll on the rest of the tournament as well. Good to have the big screen back involved in 2023. Just behind the court as we have a look at the Epsom girls huddle there. And tonight we're going to try and get a sideline reporter going for some of our games, which is going to be fun. Find out what these teams are saying. Just add to the experience. It's been great having 3 commentators at times. Mel, you and I were joined by Miles in the previous one. We had Miles with Brent Matahari.
Yes, I saw that last night. Oh, that would have been an interesting conversation. those two were having yarns on Sunday night on the couch. Oh, we all were actually doing predictions.
Were there any shock predictions that you can tell us about?
No, I think, you know, obviously talking about Rosmini, champions last year, and then figuring out with the under-16 boys still away, who needed to be back in crucial games. And then we talked again last night after the Rosmini-Hamilton boys game, which, you know, you had a trio up here last night, but it was kind of really interesting. And Jameer Reed's back today, so whether he's going to suit up. But you saw Hayden Jones suit up for Waimea first thing this morning, and he just landed into Palmerston North, and also James Matthews played for Nelson, and they just lost their game by a close margin. But so definitely talking about the under-16 boys team and how well they've done, and then predictions for the tournament. But you know, we talked about, you know, I talked about Rotorua boys being up there.
I've heard good things.
Yeah.
I haven't seen them play yet. It hasn't aligned with our commentary schedule, but I've heard very good things.
Definitely a team to watch, and looking forward to seeing what St Kitts are going to bring with their full roster back now. And Waimea, I'm keen to watch them play later today.
Waimea was my pre-tournament prediction.
Yeah.
It was just how they're going to integrate Hayden Jones. Not that that's a tough thing to do with a player of that talent, but they're who I'm looking to see. Going to love seeing Jameer come back as well.
Yes.
Probably one of the most fun young kids I think I've coached, just in terms of the skill set and the vision that he brings.
Yeah, he's a great kid, and awesome whānau. So we're related. Justine's my cousin. So she's from back home in Te Puna in Matakana Island. But, you know, I'm just looking forward to seeing how he goes today. It's now gone to a 20-point deficit. I'm wondering if they can peel back some more stops. Hokianga.
And that's the player who you've got to shut down, because just by herself she can bring this back out. But I mean, Mel, if they can get it to, what, 15 points at 5 minutes, that's something to build off of.
It is. You know, and it's going to start with her right there driving to the rim. You know, Dawn Forbes needs to be instrumental, and she's crucial in them picking back those points, and also Maya Fowler. Great rebound from Talia Veer. 15
points in 5 minutes, it's doable. I still have nightmares about the 2019 WBC final. Harbour Breeze, we were up 15 with 5 to play, and then we just fell apart. But then when you've got 3 sisters that were on the other side, Auckland Dream, they brought it all back.
The Purcell family.
The Purcells. Oh, Kailani hit the 3 to take it to overtime. Yeah, that wasn't a good feeling. Still should have won that. Oh well.
Purcell family are amazing.
Here's Forbes off the on-ball. Really strong switch there from Tauranga, forcing the ball out of her hands.
Yes. So that's an aggressive switch. Because she's already made a couple of 3s, so you at least want to contest and get a hand up and in and defend the 3-point line with Dawn Forbes.
The great use of the high post and the finish. Eden Tapsell almost got shocked with how much space she had to operate in there.
It was all generated from that pass fake as well. She faked the ball to Hokianga. They don't want Hokianga to catch it. Oh, here we go.
Big 3, Maya Fowler. Kurufifi Toru is good. And Epsom girls just coming alive here.
Nice pass
quarter number 4. Oh, but what a finish.
Yeah, left-hand reverse.
Track meet again for Epsom girls. Offensively, Mal, I'm happy with what they're doing, but defensively, again, how can they create some pressure and make Tauranga girls feel uncomfortable?
Yeah, they just need to apply a bit more pressure on the ball. And make them feel as uncomfortable as possible to either make a pass or get to the rim. So that on-ball pressure is key. And maybe, you know, denying the next pass or...
As we see a timeout taken on the floor. A chance for everyone just to grab their breath and say a big thank you to Whakata Māori, Bailey's Moulton, New Zealand Carbon Farming, Caltex, Apollo Projects and New Zealand Community Trust. A lot of people who have helped bring this tournament together. A lot of late nights, a few sleepless evenings, trying to make sure that all the ducks are in a row. And there's always something that slips through the cracks, isn't there, Mel? That in events kind of come unplanned.
Mm-hmm.
You adapt. You find ways.
Yeah. You solve problems.
Exactly.
You want to come out with solutions on everything.
As we have a look at Epsom girls, they're just in their timeout. Jelly not got the clipboard out. Looks like she's only got the one as well, Mel.
No,
didn't steal any of the ones that you've got down at the fire.
It's funny because we're all coaches in our like we've all got a whiteboard each, and then we just draw up random things. No, but it's good to have an in-game play on one of those whiteboards.
I like that. I'd never considered that having. Everyone used to always tell the head coach, draw up the play before you take the timeout. So then at least you know what you're drawing up. I never thought of just having a whiteboard with a play sitting there ready to go.
Yeah, and I guess like with our coaching staff too, we have multiple staff that will sit in and draw up a play. Depends who wants to bring something to the table at that particular time. So it's not necessarily me always delivering those timeouts. If it's someone else drawing it up, then, the other person is the kind of energizer, motivator in the background.
Hits both parts of the tupper and rebound. The tūrapa goes to Maya Fowler, having to work to bring the ball over half court. Does a good job. Defended there by Anika Highland. And Epsom girls passing around the perimeter, but how can they find a way to the hoop? They do so.
Yeah, unfortunately unable to finish there with a great rebound from Ruby onto Hokianga. We're going into high on ball. And again, with a rescreen.
Highland looking for some space, pulls up from the mid-range and good.
And she just recognised that Hokianga was open in the corner but chose to take that mid-range herself.
It had got him back almost to a 20-point game, back out to 27, 67-40. 4 minutes and 25 to play. Tauranga girls, another step on their journey towards where they want to be come Saturday. Forbes short on the first. Chance here to make the correction on the second. Makes the second. And we're going to see subs in both sides. So here is Hokianga. Happy to play off-ball duties at the moment. Here we see on the short side, Kurufifi Toru is in and out. Rebound Fowler. I mean, you talked about how fast she can be and it still looks in control, Mel, but Hokianga just such a smooth player of basketball.
She certainly is. She's been unable to sink a perimeter shot today, so she's probably getting highly frustrated. But, mentality is next play, get a stop, and that's what you mean by you see her. Looks like she's almost jogging back, but, it's pretty fast.
Here's Epsom girls again. Forbes up the top, looking to create something. No handoff opportunities. 5 on the shot clock. Head down, step through with the left hand, hits the tūrapa.
Oh,
and a foul on Eden Tapsell.
She'll be disappointed with that. That was debatable, I think. I thought that was a block. But obviously, ref saw body there. And, you know, it was some good defensive on-ball pressure from Highland on Forbes as well as Hokianga, but they were able to step through and then just unable to box out. They got a tip to it.
Short there on the first. You can see Mel mouthing ball don't lie. Nah, she's not going to say anything contentious in the commentary booth. Here come Tauranga girls again, still looking to kick ahead as quickly as they possibly can. Give themselves as much space against this 2-3 zone. Epsom girls are running. Little space.
Nice penetration from Riley McClenahan. Another good cut. Spacing's an issue there. Highland should have probably popped out to get behind the arc.
Nice to see Ruby Jones as well into the game. Another junior, I'm assuming.
Yes, she is.
Good height, though. Great screen there on the weak side. And the Kuruwhiwhi Toru is along. Away come Epsom girls through Forbes again. A little left-hand shovel pass. Spin from Vea into the short playmaking position. And there's
nice
a cut.
off-ball cut from Maya Fowler. Great work.
The speed of the cut made it. Here's Hokianga.
She's scanning the court to see who's available.
Just shifting the ball around. Finds the ball in the corner. Lovely little rip and go. Pulls up from the mid-range.
Nice pass from Highland, recognising that she was open in the corner.
And it's the speed of the rip, isn't it, that really made the space. Fowler off back iron and out come Tauranga girls. 3-on-1 opportunity. Goes herself and is fouled by Kiara Tiamo. And we'll go to the free throw line with 1:59 to play.
Probably now's a good opportunity to start resting your players for the next game. I mean, that's a still 26-point lead. Oh, and just as we said that, Coach G. Cooney gives Hokianga a well-deserved rest. And so now we've got 4 juniors out there, and you see Coach Yellen has just made the sub as well.
Converts the second, Kuru Tautuku. Epsom girls still fighting hard through a drawn Forbes.
Got a bit of a punch screen there, but didn't utilise it. And then we had another high on ball pick and roll situation. And
turnover, 1-on-1 situation.
The fearless Areta Kahuna will just go. Love it.
Nothing quite beats that teenage energy, does it?
Exactly. And so now we're getting Anika Highland off to have a rest as well to reset for the next challenge, the next game. So, Tauranga Girls College have done a great job. Oh, that was a nice screen from Maya Fowler.
The screen created the space, but no conversion. And Tauranga Girls potentially their second to last possession of this AA pool match. Oh, lovely little drop off. Again, it's that spacing, Mel, but got the open Kuruwhiwhi Toru.
And that's something that will be developed over time with the junior players. Great drive there from Drawn into making Areta commit the foul. Again, Kahura not scared to put her body in front and take the hit, take the chest blow.
Going to be some sore bodies at the end of this week. Converts the first. Opportunity here to go 2 for 2. In and out. Commentator's curse. Rebound Ruby Jones.
I hear that every game that I've been on commentary.
I've heard Maya talk about it a few times.
Yeah, honestly.
Subs in for Epsom. Olivia Edhouse and Kaysen Belcher.
So less than a minute to go in this match, and it's nice to see.
Well, it's always good to see, isn't it? Regardless of the result, everyone being able to get on the court and get meaningful minutes.
That's exactly right. Oh.
Step through. Oh, almost a soft touch off glass. Unselfish from Jones. And Tauranga now up to 72-46. Last possession here for Epsom girls. A little dribble handoff was faked. And travel is called. Under 24 seconds to go. So, given it these two teams, I don't feel they're going to end up in a tiebreaker.
No.
Tauranga girls should just safely dribble this one out. Just asking for 24 seconds on the shot clock. We've received it. And here we go. We see the Tauranga girls bench. And looks like they're going to keep playing this one out, Mel. A good opportunity here for the juniors to try and build on something. Jones, lovely dish. And it's going to stay Tauranga girls ball. 3.8 to play. Are they going to look to score? Step back, Kurufifi Toru attempt is long, and it's going to do us here. And girls AA action. Tauranga girls 72, Epsom girls 46. Mal Bennett, what stood out to you in that game?
I guess it's just a relentless full court defence from Tauranga Girls College, allowing them to disrupt and find some easy transition baskets, and that's how they got out to a good start. And also their ability to move the ball really well. And then I guess for Epsom girls, to work on probably some change in defensive disruption moving forward, to work on the rest of the tournament.
From myself, Andrew Horrocks, Coach Mal Bennett and producer Rich, we're going to take a break. We're going to be back at 5:45. We've got a game break, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's still action to take in on Court 5. You can find it on Whakata Māori on YouTube. But until that time, have a good afternoon and we'll see you soon.
Funding is a real challenge. We know that a lot of schools face that ongoing, and the reality is if you go to a lower decile school in New Zealand, you are less likely to be able to afford to participate in sport.
Obviously, having come through it myself with kids and being one of those kids myself who played sport, I know how much it defined who I was. And now being able to go, I can't fix it all, but we can help and try and give to those people who are going through really tough times.
Ladies and gentlemen,
this isn't about what we wore back in the day.
We're going to go now. Going once, going twice, no more offers. Sold!
It's about being trusted to get a better result for our clients since 1973.
Sport is about more than just the game. It's about going from teammates to best mates. It's the high fives and helping hands. It's learning when to back yourself or back your buddies. It's actually being excited to get out of bed early on a Saturday. Sport is about more than just the game. That's why Caltex is proud to help fuel school sports.
I just want to thank New Zealand Carbon Farming for taking the initiative and supporting schools like ours.
It's really important they have that outlet to come to kura for another reason other than curriculum, and for some reason in our water our kids just breathe sport, and having that resource here makes life that much more enjoyable and they can keep doing what they're good at.
Having this funding, being able to use it specifically targeting sport is hugely beneficial.